there a dog? Is he alone? Is he at the airport? Is he on a fucking bus? Is he on the plane? Is there a clicking noise? There's probably a clicking noise. Is this a clip show? I don't know if it's a clip show. It's a fucking show. Just listen, goddammit.
Hey, what's happening, my good 40-year-old boy podcast? Walking trepidatiously, kind of walking on eggshells a little bit here, walking as if I were sleeping on a bed of nails, because Mom's in a bit of a mood.
I thought it was because you're recording your own podcast again.
Well, that's happening, certainly. And so Lily is just here in a supervisory position who will pretend to enjoy the content and the talking that's happening. But I will tell you this, as I said earlier, Mom's in a bit of a mood.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, it means that when I got here, immediately, you came downstairs, which was nice of you. Here, I came over here to record. Folks, I'll tell you this, folks. Let's talk about me and my voice and the way I do things. This is my third podcast of the day, folks. This is how I do it. I go to a friend's house, a nerd garage, and I involve myself in a comedy film, Nerds. That's with a lot of Z's. Look it up on the internet. And I show over there, and I go and I talk about, we talk about a Brian Wilson movie, and we talk about a dinosaur movie. And I know what you're thinking. Not the same thing. Brian Wilson and dinosaur. I could see where you'd mix them up. Not only because Brian is ancient, but also Brian is kind of a monolithic figure. He's kind of a house, right? Brian's got, let's put it this way. If you see Brian Wilson, the first thing that goes through your brain is, why doesn't he have Carrie Fisher in a bikini on a leash in front of him? That's what you're thinking when you see Brian Wilson, because he's let himself go a tad bit. He's kind of Job of the Beach Boy. So that's who Brian is. And again, a genius, a brilliant genius, responsible for Pet Sounds and any and other all extravagant Beach Boys music. And my favorite part about Pet Sounds, if you listen really closely, you got to listen in headphones though, because it is gorgeous. The sound quality on Pet Sounds, in the background, you can actually hear their father hitting them. So you should go ahead and tune into that album. It's fantastic. Their dad was not a nice guy. Here's a funny thing. I thought that was kind of common knowledge. I thought that was kind of shorthand, that the Beach Boys' father was a cock and he would beat the shit out of him Bing Crosby style. And by that, I mean wearing a hat and holding a pipe. I don't know if you know that, folks. That's Bing Crosby style. If you're going to beat the shit out of your kid, put a sweater on and sing White Christmas while you put a foot in his ass. That's how if you want to do it. Talk to Gary Crosby. He'll tell you. Is he alive? He might have gotten all boozed up and drugged up, right? Isn't that all those guys? It's so funny. All those like comedian dudes like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin and all didn't all their kids like overdose because they were getting fucking beaten to death by these drunks, these fucking wine bags that they called parents that we all thought were funny in the time. Dudes, there is nothing fucking unfunnier than old comedy. I'm dead serious, man. It is just the fucking worst.
And yet you listen to old time radio.
Well, that's awesome because I listen to mysteries. I won't listen to fucking old comedy.
You're wrong.
They'll trot out like Jack Benny and he's like, I gotta tell you, Rochester. And I'm like, somebody drop an anvil on his fucking head. You guys did that back then, right? I would have done it. I would have literally pulled a string. Probably not a string. That's not going to hold up an anvil. That's a light anvil. I got to be honest. If you've got, or a strong string. Oh my God. There's a great name for a band. I actually saw them open up for fucking Gin Blossoms in the 90s. Strong String. That's a solid show. And that was the headline I wrote for my school paper. Strong String? ? Solid show. Because I don't know if you know this. I was on the music beat in the 90s for a school newspaper. I don't fucking know why. The Gin Blossoms are like, that's not till like the fucking 90s. That's 93. And it's funny because for the interlude this year, Max is like, hey, dude, how about if why don't you give me a bunch of songs that I could do? And I go, dude, Hey Jealousy would fit this perfectly. Nope, never. I'm like, but you're asking me like what I think should go here. And I totally think Hey Jealousy. Bullshit, terrible. And then he did a Buddy Holly song. Yay. Because I literally, all of my influence on the music ends in his house on the first floor. The second we descend the steps into the David basement, I got no say, man. I got to stare at a microphone and just talk. I'm handed a piece of paper and I go ahead and fill in the shading around the music that's being created around me. And that's fine. I got no problem with that because, again, what the fuck am I going to do? Music? You can't have me sing. Hey, why wouldn't Mex let me sing that line? Look at me recreating stuff from the old interludes. What if I did that? What if I just did spoken word versions of the interludes? Whoa. I guess that's kind of what they are really anyway. Spoken word version. My parts were. Because, again, Mex wouldn't let me fucking sing.
No, you sing. Ish.
Mom's in a bit of a mood.
Well, I'm agreeing that you do sing.
Well, certainly that, yes. But earlier, what I'm saying is I arrived here.
Mood is fine. You're sensitive.
Did a couple of, I don't think that's true.
Are you your period? Because you're a little sensitive.
I don't think I'm a lady. That's not true.
I didn't say that. I just asked if you had your period because your hormones are flying.
I don't think any of that is true. Mom's in a bit of a mood. And I knew it earlier. Well, here's the thing. I was supposed to be here because it's Tuesday. And again, folks, Tuesday is the new record day. So we record on Tuesday. I almost did a Periscope for you guys. I was going to do a Periscope to show
still
myself.
can.
Well, but what's the point now? Now we're already talking. Now we're freewheeling, man. We're
Give me your
freewheel
phone
burning.
and I'll do a Periscope at
I'm
some
probably
point.
not going to give you my phone. I would imagine that you probably
I've already seen your cock. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but
from
there's
here.
so many much better pictures than the one that you saw right now lurking, and you're probably going to just flip through and go, "Whoa, look
No,
at that."
I'm really not.
You probably will, though. I would if I was you.
Once you've seen a penis, you've seen it. It's done. I
Not
don't
mine.
think
No,
really-
different angles. One's wearing a hat. I have a cock wearing a hat photo. You probably want to see that. Paint a little mustache on him. He's like a senior Schmitty, and I do a little puppet show. It's a video. You probably watch that. You know what? Let's just cancel the show and throw that up instead. That's the Periscope. Let's do that. Just paint a mustache on my cock and put a little hat on him. Whee! I love it. It's a good plan. Look at me using social media to literally the nth degree. If I put on a cock puppet show with a mustache and a hat, I think they shut it down. I think it's a paranope. Fuck that. Fuck Periscope.
Nope.
They're gonna go paranope, and they're gonna close the whole app down because I fucking did a cock puppet show with a mustache and a hat.
I don't think that's true.
See,
See?
but that's why. You know, it's funny. I will tell you this: puppetry of the penis is out there, and look, nobody likes it. It's terrible.
Everybody likes it. They've toured all over the world and made millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yes, you know, based on literally this penis, tee-hee. That's how they made all their money. True. The only reason anybody goes is like, I'm going to see a cock. Like, that's the whole reason people are making any money on puppetry of the penis. But like, believe me, nobody went, I'm going to go see a puppetry. Nobody said that at all. Everybody in their mind went, I'm going to go see a penis. That's what it was. It literally, all the people who go see puppetry of the penis are ladies who are like, hey, I heard a lot about this show and I heard it's titillating. Wee. And guys going, well, I'm going to go look at a cock, but I don't have to be gay. Look at this. I can totally check out cock and not be gay. Like every dude seeing puppetry of the penis, they want to suck it. That's all they want to do. The whole time they're watching the show, they're like, I really wish I could put that cock in my mouth, but instead I have to watch him make a lasso out of it. And they're totally bothered by that.
You're putting mom in a mood.
Oh, well then. I might get cracked. I might get cracked by mom. What if you heard that? What if literally I'm just talking and all of a sudden just like a fucking backhand goes flying across, and I'm just like, Ma! Ah! Why are you mom? You should. Well, I guess you're kind of mom because we're the mom and dad. We're podcasting mom and dad, and when everybody thinks
And
mom
yet
and dad
you're
are
my
fighting.
son. It's very confusing.
Well, I'm that weird guy who calls his wife mom. Isn't that terrible? If that were ever to be that dude in this instance, you ever heard the guy's mother? You ever heard of those dudes? Like there's guys who refer to their wife as mother. Mother, where is the silverware? I don't know who that guy is,
Well,
by
are
the
they
way.
usually though the parents of their children that they call them mother, or do you just hang out with weird people?
I didn't say I hang out with all the dudes who call their wives mother. Please don't make it sound like I have a meeting of preternaturally old gentlemen that I go and attend on every Tuesday night. I can't. Tuesday's record day. I mean, I'd like to go to that meeting. Certainly, I'd love to show up and talk to those fellas about what they feel about mother and her wardrobe and all the money she's spending on coats. But old comedy's death, man. All of it. Jack Benny and fucking
wrong.
Fibber McGee and Molly. And
You are totally wrong.
no, dude, I
Bob.
literally, I hear it and I wonder, like, even to this day, like, I wonder if those people came back to life. Like, they're all dead, okay? Would they be proud of their body of work, or would they just go,
Yes.
oh my God, how terrible were we? Jesus Christ. There is more subtlety, shading of humor in a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon than there is in the entire run of Jack Benny's career.
You are so wrong.
Jack Benny's terrible.
Jack Benny is wonderful. Where do you think I get my material? The Jack Benny joke book.
Case in point.
Fight me.
Don't be doing the Jack Benny joke book. Don't do it. Don't
Jack
be doing.
Benny, Milton Berle,
Ugh.
Red Fox. I have all of
Red
them.
Fox doesn't count. He made his bones. He certainly was a stand-up comedian before he became anything else. But those other dudes are just terrible. Milton Berle with his fucking bad vaudeville nonsense and a suit and a
You
cigar.
have issues.
I don't have any issues. I have opinions, and my opinions are that all of that
you have
blows.
issues.
No, I don't have issues. What the fuck that? You have issues if you don't think something's funny? That's not an issue. I mean, by the way, I have deep-seated issues. There's no denying that. I certainly do have issues inside me and all this other bullshit. But these are not issues. These are opinions. My opinions are those people all fucking suck.
Your opinions are based on your issues.
I almost wish they would come back to life just so I could make them listen to themselves and then tell them how terrible they are and then kill them all.
What is wrong with you?
I want to murder
think
Fibber
you're
McGee and
in
Molly. I want to kill them. I want to put to death baby Snooks. That's who I want to kill. And my mom
How
loves...
dare you?
My
That is
mom-
a brilliant album.
Oh, it's grim. My mom loved, like, the Bickersons, and she would tell me about the Bickersons. And I listened to the Bickersons. If you don't know what the Bickersons are, here's what it is. It's like an old radio show. And it's essentially... You ever see that comic strip, The Lockhorns? Where it's like a man and a wife who hate each other and for some reason they remain married. That's what the Bickersons are. They're like these two people who are married and all they do is make fun of one another and they're mean to one another. And the crowd is laughing and guffawing. And I'm just like, why would you, literally you could solve it all by going, get a divorce. Done. There you go. Don't have to worry anymore. No more Bickersons. You could live by yourself and not have to fight with your fucking wife or make her miserable. You're doing a lot of counting over there. What's going on? You're doing chiz and bop? Look like you're doing some Korean math.
I was just trying to figure out why they call them the Bickersons.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't make any sense, right?
No, that's weird.
That's a weird surname.
Very much so.
But for them it worked, I suppose. I mean, I don't know what happened. I think it's German. That's my guess. It's German for shouting couple, I believe.
Bickersons.
The Bickersons?
The Bickersons.
Because I would say that's Hispanic. Bickersons.
No, Bickersons.
Oh, the Bickersons.
Ula Bickerson.
Oh, the Bickersons.
Ula Bickerson.
By the way, we've literally talked about the Bickersons more than anyone else has in 35 years. Just in this.
Except for Jack Benny.
Oh, Jack Benny. Terrible. I want him to come back to life just so I can murder him.
You are wrong. Jack Benny is very funny.
None of those people are funny. None of old comedy is death. It is terrible. It is so unfunny. Don Rickles is a genius. He does not count. Don Rickles is a brilliant man.
See, you have issues.
I don't have issues. I have opinions.
You claim certain people are great and certain people aren't because you have issues.
Disagree.
Would you like some tissues for your issues?
Mom's in a bit of a mood.
Mom is in a great mood.
Mom was in a terrible mood earlier. Mom
I'm not in a terrible mood.
Mom hates people. That was what I heard earlier.
Well,
You hate everybody.
I do.
But then you said you love Eddie, and I'm like, see, you don't hate everybody, and you're like, nah. And then she hates everybody, so I come here, and then I sit down, and I just want to learn Audacity, folks, because again, I'm running. This is not a fledgling effort. This is a sophomore effort of me running my own podcast. Because again, last week we were in the basement, we were in the cat house, myself and my friend David Hernandez doing a show. But this week we are running it again. We are here in the oldest building in Hollywood, and I am handling the Audacity my own self and watching the wavy blue lines and the whole thing, the microphone
so cute
and the.
To watch you learn.
Well, it's funny you would say that because probably about an hour ago you didn't feel that way. You felt like you should yell at me and point at me.
I didn't yell at you or point at you. You said, shouldn't I put this in the Audacity app file? And I'm like, go to the desktop. And you're like, but shouldn't it be in the thing over there? And I'm like, go to the desktop.
Yes, but I don't want to be told what to do. I want to learn it on my own, and I was going to get there eventually, but I was asking questions, and you're like, go there.
I was answering
Press
them.
that.
It's on the desktop.
Save that.
It's on the desktop.
Hit Option V. It's not doing anything. I said hit Option V. Well, I just hit Option V. Oh, I meant Command V.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, okay. Well, I'm doing Option V and nothing's happening, and I'm sitting here frightened like a child, like a tiny baby chick in a chair about to be smashed by the Colonel. And she's do Option V, and then she punched me in the head with one knuckle. And I was like,
making up a bunch of stuff.
None of that stuff is made up.
All of that is made up. I said Option C, and then I went, hold on, no, it's Command. It's the little squiggle button. It's the butterfly thing.
M-I-A-B-O-A-M. Mom's in a bit of a mood. So when I got here today, folks, I had to park downstairs, and I ran into, first of all, there's a bedbug sizzler downstairs, which is, yes, there is. Clearly there is. It is as if someone were to go, if I wanted to draw all of the bed bugs in Los Angeles to this area, how would I do such a thing? I know. I'll put out pressed wood and a box spring and a discarded Chase Lounge and watch them descend upon this corner, and then I will harness them to do my bidding. It's like Ben with rats. Like if some guy was like a bedbug whisperer, and he was like, dude, I totally fed you a Chase Lounge. Now go eat everybody. And he would be in charge. So that's what he's doing. He put them out there as bait. Someone on your block is the bedbug whisperer. He's put those things out there to try. Because normally you would discard those items because they were full of bed bugs. I go the other route. This dude flipping the script. By the way, don't put the script out there. They'll eat it. But he is putting those out there. He's putting those out there to lure them so then he can say, haha, I totally fed you a box spring. Now, my pretties, let's kill. That's what he's going to do. He's trying to lure them in under his spell, and he's going to have these bed bugs at his beck and call. That would be the scariest supervillain there is, I think, right?
Bedbug Man?
Well, no, just anybody who could harness the power of something small.
Isn't that what Ant-Man does?
He's a hero, though.
Okay.
I'm talking about villains.
Is he? In every hero, there's a darkness.
Oh, and yeah, okay, good for you.
Or something.
But yeah, like if there was like a guy who could like harness the power of bed bugs and send them to you, they would totally, and they would just eat you. Because there was a movie called The Abominable Dr. Phibes, and then Dr. Phibes Rises Again, and Vincent Price was in it. You never saw those movies?
Yeah.
They're fucking genius. And Dr. Phibes, he decides to kill a bunch of dudes using like the plagues of the Bible. And with one of them, he puts a hose, he hangs it from a ceiling, and he drips honey all over some dude. And then, which sounds like a pretty good start, honestly, to an evening. If I'm in bed and somebody hangs a hose over me and drips honey all over me, I think I'm in for a pretty good time. I think it's going to be an all right evening. And, it literally, if Jill's like, hey, I'm going to lay there and I'm going to get a hose and I'm going to pour honey all over you, I am on board with whatever happens next. However, in this movie, he did that, and then he put another tube down and he dropped like locusts on him. And they totally ate his skin. And then in the morning, they found a skeleton. And I got to tell you, that's a bad first date, certainly. Dr. Phibes and that guy did not click. I mean, look, the locusts went home fat and happy. They were certainly thrilled with it. But it's comical, actually, when the police find him. Because, again, there's never any, like, viscera or any gruesomeness when they find in the old movies. And skeletons are supposed to be scary. When skeletons are look, man, skeletons are inside of all of us. Right now, I am a talking skeleton. Seriously, like, if you get past me and the layers and oh my Christ, layers of fat underneath me, there's like bones and like a scary skeleton dude. And when you're a kid, skeletons are totally scary. But if you think about it, that's me. That dude's just like me. It's just he's unencumbered by skin. So actually, he's free. That dude is totally free. Like skeletons are the freest of us all. Skeletons they're liberated. That's who they are. They're liberated from any sort of judgment at all. Because we all are superficial, and you see him, and you're like, ooh, that girl's hot, or ooh, that dude is ugly. Skeletons aren't like that. They're like, dude, hey, skeleton, what's up, skeleton? And then they fucking make out. Totally like a skeleton makeout, like a daisy chain session. Huh?
I don't remember.
Why aren't skeletons making out? You don't think skeletons would make out?
What are they going to do? Literally lock jaws?
Fuck yes, why not? Skeletons have desires.
But there's no... It literally would be click, click, click.
Stop telling me skeletons don't like to fuck.
I didn't say that. They just don't have anything to fuck with.
They got their bony fingers.
So you're telling me all that skeletons do are finger bang? Okay, the noises were really gross.
That's the noise, man. That's skeleton finger bang right there.
Oh my god! And I can't believe I said finger bang.
Yeah, you
what
did.
The fuck?
Yeah, because you've been thinking about it.
No,
yeah,
but
you
I
have.
was just like, how else would you do it? And it literally would be a finger bang because it would be like boom, 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 click, click. Awful. Awful.
That's how they do it. And I mean, look, it's got to be. I'll be honest with you. I'm not bad at what I do. I mean, I'm pretty good at a lot of things, but I think it would take me forever to get a skeleton woman off. Oh my god, I got to think so, right? Like, I mean, look, folks. I'll tell you this. I am good.
Oh my god!
I am good at two things, and both of them. I'm good at three things, and all of them include my mouth. And one of them is talking, and one of them is eating, and I'll let you guess what the third one is. But I have to even think that me.
Breathing?
No.
No.
I mean, but trust me, I'm better at that than breathing. But if I went down on a skeleton, I got to think even I would see that as a challenge. I got to think that even I would be set back and try to have to come at it from a different angle, literally.
How do you get somebody off on their hip bone? I don't understand.
Oh, I could do that actually.
No, I don't want to hear this.
I think maybe you do.
No.
What an interesting thing. I won't say it, but
No, you
what
should. Go ahead.
No, it's an
Tell
interesting
a
choice of
story
words.
about a hip bone.
See, it's just fucking weird that you would say hip bone. Like out of it's just kind of arbitrary that you would choose that for some reason. It just because that's like a thing.
That's all
for
they
me.
got down there is pelvic bones and hip bones.
Yeah, they're kind of but I mean, look, I haven't been with skeleton ladies. All right, I got to be honest with you, but
You haven't really?
well, I've been with ladies with bones, certainly.
Okay, good.
And that was what you said hip bone, and it kind of made me because there was like a fucking hot Jesus. I should fuck it. I'm just gonna do it. I don't give a fuck. She's in at this point, right? Isn't she in?
I think so.
She can't. She's not gonna take off on me. I mean, just because. I mean, she knows who I am. She's heard this. She certainly knows what's. And she's certainly. And look, you know what? Don't do anything with me if you don't want me to fucking talk about it, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's kind of a standard life rule with when you're my friend or you're with
We
me.
should have shirts printed that say, "Don't do anything with me if you don't want me to talk about it."
Exclamation point.
Warning.
Warning? That's a big shirt. Honestly,
Caution.
that's a lot of fucking
You're
words on a
outraged.
shirt. I don't like it. But yeah, in life, if you know me, don't do shit around me or with me unless you know you want me to talk about it. Because I have to. I'm going to. It's going to happen.
How about if it just says, I'm going to talk about this on my podcast?
No, because then I'm fucking... Who's that guy from Film Threat? Chris Gore. That dude...
Does he have a shirt that says that?
He
Seriously?
might. He's one of those dudes.
Oh, I was making a joke.
I don't know, but Chris, I liked Chris. He's a nice guy. I've met him and he was a nice person, but he seems to me the type who would have that shirt. He's that dude who all of a sudden I met him at a pool party last year, I forget, at Andy Wood's house. And everybody was just kind of chill and drinking and doing whatever and swimming or whatever. And Chris showed up in like an overcoat with an umbrella, and he was loud and like literally one of those dudes like reach in his pocket and pull out salami. Like he's just that. You're going, why are you so weird? But he wasn't. I don't know if he was trying to be weird or if that was his deal, or because his podcast is I forget what it's called. It's because someone tried to get me to be on it. It's he crashes your podcast. That's his deal. Like his podcast is he crashes your podcast when you're recording and he records his. So he gets you like to kind of do his show while he does your show. I don't fucking know. And again, I could be doing him a disservice. He may not even exist. I may have made this person up. I have no idea. But he's one of those dudes who's like, hey, I'm going to, whatever happens, whatever wacky thing happens, I feel like he would create wackiness just so he could talk about it. Whereas just terrible things happen to me because I'm an awful person. So, or just real life happens and I'll wind up spinning it or talking about it. But the bottom line is Jill's in, right? She's not going anywhere. I couldn't possibly lose her at this point with some dumb shit I said here on the show. So
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So I'll just tell this fucking story and hopefully she's cool with it, but we'll see. Jill's hot. And I don't know what it is. And again, I've told you this before and I'm sure you've heard it. I have this weird, I can't keep my hands or the rest of me off of her. I can't, no matter where we are, what we're doing. And we were in a hotel once and, this will sound aggressive.
Warning! Graphic sexual content ahead!
Not that graphic.
Okay.
But we were doing things. There was some sort and clothes were coming off and she was getting pretty naked. And I started up at the top and I just started to work my way down, as I'm wont to do. Although there are the times where I will start at the bottom and I'll work my way up. But also sometimes I just start in the middle, man. And I kind of go in small concentric circles and I work my way around there. And then eventually I'm going to find out where I'm going. Right?
Okay.
Even though we all know where I'm going. But I like to take different routes there. I like to take a different route occasionally. Sometimes I'll spend, I could spend a half an hour on, from on your feet working my way up, or an hour or 2 hours. I don't give a fuck. I literally will keep my mouth on you and Jill as long as she will let me. Because that's my fucking thing, because I am all mouth. If I'm not talking and I'm not eating, well, let's put it this way. I would much rather my mouth was all over her at all times, and then occasionally I might have a sandwich. Like that's kind of me. And so I started at her shoulders, and I won't go into a long-ass romance novel, but I eventually made my way down. And I was kneeling in front of her, and I had her by the hips, and her hip bones are artwork. I mean, literally soliloquies have been written about them, and by people who have never even met Jill. But anybody who's written the most brilliant soliloquy about anything, it's about Jill's hip bones, because they are unbelievable, and they're. I grab them. I'll just fucking just grab them occasionally and just shake her and just be like, yep. I mean, I just can't keep I have to handle her. So I was licking my way down and I got to her hip bones and I was licking around there, and she still had her jeans on, but they were kind of low slung, so they were down a little bit, so they were just below her hip bones, but a little above where where every great thing in the world lives. And I'm licking her stomach, and then I get over and I'm licking her hip bones, and I just bit her, like hard, and I'm holding her by the hips, and she's pulling my hair, but I didn't know, I kind of went for it because this is early on for us, you know what I mean? So it's about time that I unveil some of the things I like to do on you, and we'll see how on board with it you are. We'll see. Because again, look, if you say to me, hey, you probably shouldn't bite me, I'm going to go, okay. And we'll figure something else out. But that's the way it works, man. When you're with somebody for the first couple of times, you've got your thing and you bring it to bear and you go, hey, this is going to work or it's not going to work, but this is what I like. I hope you like it too. And it just so happens, I might like some things that you might not like. And, but the crux of it is, you learn, it's ping pong. You learn how to do the things that person likes and they learn to accommodate your likes and all that kind of stuff. But here's what's great, folks. Let me tell you this. So I look across, I got my tongue like under her fucking waistband and I look over and I get to her hip bones and I said, fuck it, because I was fucking licking them. And then I just went, all right, this is it. And I just put the whole thing in my mouth, her hip bone. I just started biting it. And like not like not a fucking, I'm not a raccoon. I'm not attacking your garbage on the porch in the middle of the night. Oh my God, raccoon sex? How great would that be? Their tiny little hands. Oh yeah, working the speed bag. But I got my hands, and basically I got her ass in my hands, and I got my face pressed into her hip bone, and my mouth is open around her entire hip bone, and I start to bite it. But there's a way. All right, look, you're biting it, but your tongue is working too at the same time. So it's not like you're not like tearing it apart. I'm not trying to get to the inside of her hip bone, okay? But you're biting and you're sucking into whatever you're doing, and you get your tongue working. But here, like, so I said, you do things and you just kind of take a chance because that's what I like, and hopefully she likes it. But if she doesn't, you work around it, and there's plenty of other parts of her for me to put my mouth on. So. But what's the best? When the person you do that to goes crazy and loves it. Because you took a chance, you put yourself out there, and because that's who I am. So I did it. And she's got her hands like around my shoulders, and then she put them in my fucking hair and she pulled me hard to her body. Like she didn't pull me away because I thought I was going to get yanked, or I didn't know what the fuck. But instead it was more like, oh, that's interesting that you're totally biting my hip bone. Here, let me grab your hair and climb inside your mouth. Let me try to get the rest of me inside of you because this is fucking amazing. And she starts making all sorts of great sounds, and she's just holding me, and I'm going to work now because I'm like, all right, well, you know what? If we're doing this, we are fucking doing this. And I'm my mouth, my whole mouth, because I got a giant mouth, folks. I could actually put my fist in my mouth. So my whole mouth is just covering her hip bone, and I am biting, and she's grinding, and it's happening, and I've got her by the around the waist, and she's pulling me she's pulling my hair, but pulling me into her and squeezing, and for a while, and then you don't. You stop, and then you just like, you lick it around. Who cares? Nobody. The point is there's a technique. I lost myself certainly in the animalistic desire of it in the middle of it, but then you stop and you back off and you like lick around and you and then you come back to it, and because you can't do it too long because again, it's aggressive and it's kind of rough and certainly. Yeah. So you kind of find the precipice of that and you pull back. And besides, there's a whole other hip bone for me to go visit. I mean, if the right one liked it, let's see how the left one feels about it. And so I did. I pulled back, and then I licked across her stomach, and I fucking tight roped my way around her jeans, and I got over, and I went on her other hip bone, and same thing, man, pulling my hair and grinding, and she's got her fucking leg up on my shoulder, and I'm like, I'm fucking into it. And again, I'm holding now the waistband of her jeans, and they're kind of, oh, dude! So this continues, and some other things happen. And but I keep on the hip bones, and then she kind of pulls back, and she catches sight of herself like in the mirror, in the hotel mirror, and she looks, and there are teeth marks, like heavy duty teeth marks, and some bruising, but I mean all around her hip bones on either side. I mean, just because that's what I was doing, and we were into it, and I was doing it, and she was into it, but we were all over each other, and I pulled back, and you looked, and you could see, it was like purple and kind of red, and teeth marks, and on either side of her, and you know, you can get caught up in the moment of doing things and you don't really think about it. You just kind of do it. And then in the aftermath, you're like, hey, why did we shave my head? You know what I mean? It's just like, because it seemed like the thing to do at the time. But as we lay here in a pile of my hair, it seems a little freaky. So I wasn't sure. And I'll tell you what, for me, I'll see Jill for like 4 days at a time, 4 or 5 days. And literally I will say to her, you know, I better be really marked up when you leave. I'm a fan. You know, she has a job and like kids and family. So if she came in with like, you know, fucking shit all over her neck or her elbows or her thighs or whatever, it might be a problem. Not that her kids are seeing her thighs, but fuck. But me, I don't give a fuck. Literally, I tell her, I go, and it's like, I'll just put my bicep right in her mouth and go, all right, yeah, bite. And just, yeah. So I'm a fan. So she pulls back and she catches herself in the mirror. And it's, I mean, from across the fucking room, you can see it. Okay. And it looks like, what are those fucking cups they put on people to do that? I mean, it is just purple and red. And it's, I will tell you this, they're perfectly placed. I mean, they really, I know what the fuck I'm doing because it was right on the fucking hip bones on either side. And they were perfectly concentrically, they were aesthetically beautiful and they were on either side. And again, for me, I'm okay with that. I think it's fucking great. And honestly, if you want to let me do the rest of your legs and everything else in between, I'm on board. Let's fucking do it. But I don't know how she's going to respond because this was like, you know, the kind of the first salvo into that. And she looks in the mirror and I mean, it's like the sun catches her through the window and it's wet. And there's like, you know, spit and everything else. And she kind of catches like a shine and she sees it in the mirror. And she looks down at me, and I look up at her, and I'm kind of like waiting. You know, I'm holding on to her fucking, and she just goes, "Whoa!" And I was like, kind of like, "Mm-hmm." And she goes, "Honey, that's hot." And I wanted to do a cartwheel. I was so fucking happy. And she looks at me and she grabs my hair and she puts her face to my face and she goes, "You know what I'm going to do?" What? She goes, "I want you to do that. And I'm going to get that tattooed right there on both those hip bones."
Oh, that is so romantic.
Yeah. And then I exploded, of course. I absolutely blew to fucking pieces like Wile E. goddamn Coyote and they had to put me together. Because that's when I went, oh, that's why we're spending the rest of our lives together, because you're you, and that's fucking great. So I'm gonna get your teeth marks tattooed right there on my hip bones. We'll just do it. You'll have to do it again. Like, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that again. That's fine. I'm in. Let's do it. So, like I said, I could get a skeleton chick off probably. I certainly know where I'd put my mouth. Skeleton Fingerbang. Please name the show Skeleton Fingerbang. Please.
You get to name it. So.
That's true. I'm doing it myself, right?
Yeah.
Dude, Skeleton Fingerbang is hysterical. That's got to be my next CD, right? Skeleton Fingerbang. Holy God.
Your body of work.
So she'll be cool with that story, right? With me telling that story?
Well, I don't know.
It's not like her priest is listening.
He might be.
He could be. That's a good point. That entire fucking town. I told you, I think that whole town is like a listening party where they listen to me and they just fucking go ahead and because honestly, I don't know. There's the whole crew of people there. I used to tease her all the time that they would have a meeting at the fucking local bar and just be like, all right, Jill's brought in an outsider. We have to discuss this. In their robes, you know, with their robes. And they had like a big, you know, like a Jill and a cross. So what were we talking about before you said that?
You were talking about skeletons.
Yeah, I sure was. So now, yeah, Jesus Christ. All right, so I think she'll be cool with me telling that story, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, don't tell her I told that story.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Let's just go ahead. Yeah, just keep that quiet.
She listens.
So Mom's in a bit of a mood today.
I'm in a great mood.
Well,
What is wrong
good.
with
I'm
you?
glad. Well, no, when I first got here, you hated people and all of that stuff, and I had to park downstairs
That's not a mood. That's reality.
in front of
I
Bedbug
hate
Sizzler.
people.
Well, true. But you shouldn't hate. You don't hate people, right?
How do you know?
Well, I don't know.
How do you know the darkness in my heart?
Wow. I don't know, Melissa Etheridge. Why don't you tell me in song?
I don't know that song, or I would have sung it. Does she have a song called "The Darkness in My Heart"?
Maybe. Why not?
Probably. Why not?
Let's write it up. I was at work.
I don't think it's dark to hate people. It's just the truth.
No, well, but I will also tell you this though, from the stories that you've told me, yeah, you're perfectly well within your rights to hate these people. Yeah, they sound fucking awful, quite frankly. I don't know how you deal with the inner world and the backstabbingness of burlesque and traveling the road.
It's business in general. I mean, it's,
Well, but
the espionage between McDonald's and Burger King was terrible. You know, the spies for KFC. I mean, when you read the stories of how businesses and empires were built, I'm like, I'm not even trying to build an empire. Sure, crawl over my back and you'll make tens of dollars too.
I just want to bite my girlfriend. I don't give a fuck what happens. Seriously, build your empire. It's fine with me.
It drives me crazy.
All right. Well, that's fine. But they're terrible people in the things that you've shown me, and so I don't want to even. Again, but you won't let me name names. That's the thing. I would burn the whole fucking thing to the ground if you'd let me. That'd be awesome.
Well, I don't want to burn it to the ground. I am of the philosophy of you work with people until you realize that they're not worth your time or energy, and then you just don't work with them anymore.
That's too practical.
Well,
no, I think you
again,
guys.
we all have our journey.
You should work with them and then have a secret hatred toward them, and then but you smile into their face, and then all the time you want to take their place.
Really?
Yeah, that's how it works. You and the backstabbers. Backstabbers. See, I can sing. Max, come on.
I don't know why Mex does not let you sing or let you pick songs. What the hell?
Well, no, he asks. I gave him like a list of like 40, and he did like 8 of them, and I'm like, because he can't do 40. See, it's so funny. He's like, dude, I might write a piece of music for the show this week.
Hey Jealousy was a hit. I don't understand.
Dude, Hey
that.
Jealousy to this day.
I don't understand why Hey Jealousy was not. I mean,
Well,
aren't Gin Blossoms in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
First of all, no. Not even if they bought tickets. They're actually turned away at the door. Dude, the Gin Blossoms are a fucked up story. Do you know their story?
I don't.
Like they were a band and they made New Miserable Experience and then that song.
And then they fell apart.
Mrs. Rita was on there. Well, wait, no, wait, hold on, it's worse. That song Mrs. Rita is on there, and then until I fall away. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
And then of course Hey Jealousy. There were like 3 or 4 big hits on there, and they So the dude who wrote all those songs in the Gin Blossoms was like a horrible alcoholic, just a misery as a person. And then they named the album New Miserable Experience. Well, then the album came out and it was kind of like moribund. It went nowhere. Okay. So they fired that fucking dude. They hated him. They kicked him out of the band. And then radio picked up the album and it became like a huge hit. So they went out and toured without him and did all this shit without the fucking guy who wrote the songs.
But
He's
he
like
had
this.
money, right?
He's the Sid Barrett of fucking Gin Blossoms. I think he died. I think he drank himself to death or some nonsense. Look, I don't know the full Gin Blossom story. I wasn't prepared to bring all that to you. Go wiki them, motherfucker. I don't fucking know.
I don't want to wiki anyone.
I just thought it was interesting that literally, that was the dude, of course, the creative genius behind it all is, and by the way, Max is sitting here right now. I guarantee you, he just went, Gin Blossoms, creative genius. There's a couple of words that don't belong slammed together. Because it's funny when you said, you're like, I don't know, it was a hit. Why wouldn't he do it? Because the 90s don't exist for my friend Dave. And that's not even a joke. Like Dave in the 90s was raising his kids and probably never heard any other music other than the music he likes. He became insular and just went, I like, because he was playing with his band and then listening to the music that he liked. So, I mean, if it wasn't Prince or Elvis, and I got news for you, Elvis wasn't putting anything out in the 90s. Prince may have been, and so he was on board with that. But if it wasn't those people, or Sam Cooke, or fucking legends, then he was just like, nope. So he has no interest in it, man.
Wow,
None.
he must hate now.
Oh my God, does he hate now? He so hates now. Like I did that show where I was talking about fucking the Fall Out Boy and all those songs, and he never even said a word about it. Like I wanted to talk to him about that episode. First of all, he probably didn't listen, but second of all, he would just go like, I don't know who those people are. Like I hate them. They're just terrible. Like he doesn't. And it's like when I always tease him, and it's a running joke. I'm like, dude, everybody you like is dead. Well, that's really not a joke. Like he hates. I can't even. It's like when I'm a comedian. So when I go see comedy, I have a jaundiced eye. I just
Yeah.
do. You know, you'll see people and you're just like, "Nyeh." Or you'll see the tricks. You'll know what that person's doing. You'll know the tricks that they're pulling to try and get an audience to laugh at them, or you'll see the shortcut they took, and you can kind of see, you know what? I can see the skeleton behind their act or whatever the fuck that they're performing. So I can watch it and I can pick it out. Well, he's like that with bands. Like we went, this is a couple years ago or a year and a half ago. We went and saw a Zeppelin tribute band. And it was, you know who Jason Bonham is?
Yeah.
He's John Bonham's kid.
Yeah.
So he put together a Zeppelin tribute band. And they tour, it's like the Led Zeppelin experience, and he fills his father's role behind the drum kit. So when I'm listening to them, I'm just hearing them recreate Zeppelin songs in an unbelievable fashion. I mean, they were really good. We went to a theater in fucking, I don't know, Villa Park, Illinois, or Crest Hill or some bullshit.
Well, you know it's a good tour band when they're playing Villa Park, Illinois.
But you know what? Agreed. But it's still, it's like a 2,000 seat theater, and they're
I'm
making their money.
teasing,
No, but
yeah.
you're right. I know exactly what you're thinking, Lily, because I feel the same way. But that's the way you can't think. It's like whenever Cheap Trick plays in Crest Hill, everybody's like, oh, fucking Cheap Trick's still out there. Well, yeah, they're selling
And
out
they're
2,000 seat theaters, and they're making money. You know what they do for a living? They play Crest Hill, motherfucker. You pump gas, so you don't get to fucking make fun of them. What the fuck is your problem? Not you.
I'm so sorry. Don't hit me.
Dad's in a bit of a mood.
Dad's in a bit of a mood.
Well, I've talked about it on here, man, where I just don't
no.
understand how people fucking, they savage these older acts. Like, I was listening to the radio the other day. I'm listening to fucking, Flashback, whatever the fuck, Channel 33 on XM. And it's Richard Blade, and he's on there. He's talking about bands, and he's talking about who's going to be out there. Men Without Hats are touring in America. If you want to see them, they're in Rochester, New York at Danny's. And, they're at these little bar, Danny's.
I
They're,
thought you said at Denny's. and I'm
he's
like,
English.
That's fucking funny.
He's
They're
English.
playing Denny's.
They are playing Denny's. They are.
I was like, that is the perfect sarcasm.
Yeah. But they're playing some fucking bullshit bar in Rochester, New York, and then they're playing the next day in Poughkeepsie, and then they're playing somewhere else, and they're playing and it's Men Without Hats, who, quite frankly, had 2 songs. You know, they had. It's so funny because people don't. When I say Men Without Hats, they think they have 1 song, but there is a second song, and the second you heard it, you go, "Oh fuck yeah!" Do you know their 2 songs? But you know the one, obviously.
I think I know 4.
Oh my God, really?
But only because I had their album.
Well, that'll do it.
Well, I had their cassette, and so I played it in my car a lot.
I wouldn't know them. I would know the 2 monster hits that they had, and by monster hits, I mean I liked them. I don't know if any. One of them was a monster hit, and to this day, you could. And so I guess they can still tour off of it, which is fantastic. Because normally I would just hear Midnight Men Without Hats, and I'd be like, I don't know how they could play.
Yeah.
In a bar or whatever. But see, everybody, if you're talented, man, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. What you need is to find people who celebrate that talent and they can keep you in fucking sandwiches. That's all that matters is someone who's willing to buy your stuff and like what you do. The band Wang Chung. Wang Chung, they made music and then they kind of disappeared. Then they were back on that fucking NBC show where they brought back 80s bands to do their own songs, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they did Pat's podcast, my friend Pat's Rock Solid podcast. And he was telling me that they were going to be on, and I said, listen to me. I go, obviously he does his research and he wants to talk, and he has a lot of things he can converse with. He can talk about their producers and the way they write songs, and that's all cool stuff. But I said to him, I go, there's something I would really like you to ask them about. And I don't know if he ever got to discuss it with them at length because they wanted performing in studio. But here's the thing. If you go download it and you listen to him with Wang Chung in studio, they're fucking phenomenal. They did an acoustic version of, I think of Everybody Wang Chung Tonight or whatever, and they killed it. I don't know if he released that. I got to make sure which song is on the show. But yeah, because they're musicians, they have talent, and they can sit down with a fucking guitar and move you and make you go whoa. Because for Wang Chung, and everybody knows Everybody Wang Chung Tonight and all that bullshit. But dude, they scored the movie To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah.
And they did the soundtrack for it. They did some longer just instrumental pieces, and then they did some other songs that are just because the song To Live and Die in L.A. is for me top 20 songs of all time. I don't know what it is. It's the feel about it, because when I hear it, it takes me. I'm all of a sudden it's like it's 1987 or whatever the fuck it was. Hold on, you're raising your hand. You have a question.
I do. Where can I see that list?
Which one?
The top 20 of all time.
Of my top 20 of all time? Fuck, I haven't put it together. It's in my
But
brain.
I'm saying, people always go, that's like in the top 20. Really? Name the other 19 right now. I'm always like, because people say that, and then it's like, then they'll say something later, and I'm just like, well, You've said that about 22 songs.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, it's kind of it's just shorthand for it's great.
Yeah.
Really, it's honestly it's me trying to convey how much I love it without just going I love it.
Because honestly, I would love to see your blog have the top 20 songs. I would love to see your blog that have that stuff because I do think you have those and I do think you've thought them out.
Well,
and those
certainly.
are interesting things. You should blog about that. That was the whole point I was getting to.
Well, I appreciate that. Perhaps I'll Periscope it.
What are the other 9 songs? What are the other 19 songs?
19
Let's do that
songs.
right now.
Well, that whole album
Yeah.
is an
No, it's a
underrated
great
album to
album.
me. It's and again because the movie to me is so visceral and I love the movie so much. There's this great I've talked about it on here before. I swear to God, one of my favorite real life moments of aggression is in that movie. And it's William L. Peterson and his partner are going to meet Willem Dafoe, who's Rick Masters, a counterfeiter.
Yeah.
And they're undercover. Well, they walk in at the bottom, and the camera shot out of it is even brilliant. It's at the top of the stairs, the camera. They're at the bottom of the stairs. And so when they walk in, Peterson's wearing a wire. Okay, so he does not want them to know because he's trying to...
Spoiler.
There's a lot of spoilers
Just
here.
kidding.
Well, no, you're totally right. Because I just did the spoiler episode today of the Jurassic Park, and we talked about the entire film from beginning to end. We may have given every line too. I mean, it's so you have to say that. So spoiler alert, but still, see Will to Live and Die in L.A. So they come into the foyer, and Rick Masters' bodyguard is down there, and he's going to search them. So he searches the first guy, and the guy just kind of acquiesces because they're supposed to be just country club guys who are buying some counterfeit money from Rick Masters. Well, he searches the first dude, and the dude just kind of puts his hands up and walks away. And again, this is just for me. You will not find any of the same resonance that I found in this. But William L. Peterson is wearing a wire, so he doesn't want to be searched. So he puts his hands up, and the guy goes to search him, and William L. Peterson slaps his hand away. He goes, "You don't fucking touch me." And the guy goes to grab him again, and William L. Peterson kind of to get body him, and the guy slams him into a wall. Hard. You can just see that it's method acting. There was no bullshit. I wonder if the guy even knew what fucking William L. Peterson was going to do, because it's just this aggressive movement where the guy, he hits him and he goes, "You don't touch me," and then it's just this quick like boom boom, and he pins him against the wall, and then Rick Masters appears at the top of the stairs and he goes, "They're fine, let him up," and the bouncer, the bodyguard looks at William L. Peterson and goes, "Oh, well, go ahead, tough guy." And it's the greatest fucking dismissal. It's such a cool fucking thing because they had this little, it's a 5-second fight, like a little blow up, and he's got his hand on his chest and he's looking at him. They're going to go. And fucking Masters comes in and just goes, "It's fine, let him up." And he goes, "Oh," and he just does that mocking face. He goes, "Oh, well, go ahead, tough guy." Because you see he wants to hurt him. He still wants to have a piece of him. And William Peterson just fucking stares at him and won't leave his gaze. And then they walk up the stairs. And I love tough guy bullshit. I love that kind of stuff. I fucking vibrate off of it. So that moment, I remember when it happened because it looks like a real fight. It looks like shit's about to happen and go down. Then when he mocks him with the tough guy thing, and you're just like, God damn it! It was so cool and so great. And so I love that movie, and so consequently, I love the album. I bought the album, and I really love it. But that's the thing is, these bands will then play Shubas or the Thirsty Whale or whatever the fuck, and they'll draw 600 people, and everybody will be like, "Oh, I can't believe these guys are still fucking doing it." Well, what did you want them to do? You want them to go fucking work in a goddamn hot dog factory? Yeah. Bullshit. They have a band that people like, and if you can market yourself to 600 people, well, that's 600 people who bought your t-shirts and paid for tickets and came to watch you fucking sing music for an hour and a half to 2 hours and do what you do. I've talked about that on here. It's a prevailing theme within the show, but I get so tired of anybody who makes fun of bands, and you're just like when I heard about Men Without Hats, my head immediately went to, they have 2 fucking songs. How are they touring? And then I went, well, because maybe they play those 2 songs really fucking well, and everybody's happy to see them. Who the fuck cares? I can't believe that there's Men Without Hats fans all over this country. Like, I would think they'd be big in England or whatever the fuck. But, out here.
We're in Japan.
Maybe. That's okay. Because again, and look, let's be honest, all over this globe, you can dance if you want to.
Really?
You can leave your friends behind because your friends don't dance. And if they don't dance, let me tell you this, all right, motherfucker? No friends of mine. Say... we can go. Oh, forget it. I can do the whole song. So that's that song. Oh, she did the dance. She just did the freeze. We should Periscope that. No. She did the fucking hands up.
It's the first voguing, I think.
It might have been. They may have invented voguing. Men Without Hats invented voguing. And then the two, it's like him and the blonde chick and the runner. I went to the midget tours with them. What if that dude's still around? Remember that?
So.
He had a lute.
I hope so.
Didn't he? Yeah, I think he had a lute, right? And he's running around there because they were like medieval.
I love a lute.
Name the other song.
No. I wasn't even gonna name.
Man without, yeah, safety dance. All
I was
right,
just gonna let people wonder.
they'll guess. Here's a hint. There you go. So we go see the Zeppelin band, right? And they were playing in. It might have been Joliet. I don't know where the fuck they were, but it was me and.
Folsom Prison.
Could have been. I don't know. They were busking in a train station. But it's me and Max and my buddy Chris B and Kenny B, and the
B brothers.
B cousins. Actually, yeah. Chris B is he's Evil Dennis's brother, and Kenny is Evil Dennis's cousin. I talked about Kenny on here a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week. I don't know when. Because Jill was like, he's really good looking, and I was like, yeah, you're never talking to Kenny again. Because I'm that guy. So we went to the show. We went up. It was winter, so I was out in winter without a coat, as always. This is a year ago, 2 years ago. So we show up, and Chris. I'll tell you about Chris. Chris is how do I explain Chris? Chris is one of those stealth funny dudes who's he always says something fucking hysterical, but he'll do it with a straight look on his face, and he just comes in. He's kind of an assassin where he'll say something funny that's really funny, but he's not overt about it.
Right.
But also Chris is because Chris is Evil Dennis's brother, and they could not be more different. They're both funny, but Dennis is just like a thumb in your eye, whereas Chris is just smooth. So Chris has a wife and a couple of sons, and Chris is rich, like crazy rich. Like, how do I will tell this story because why not? I went to a party at their house, and it was at Chris and his wife's house, and they had I don't know, I think it was a Christmas party or graduation party for their son, and their house is a monolith. I mean, I pulled up and there's monkeys pawing the bottom of it. I mean, it is gigantic. Like here's how big their house is. I had flown in for other things, but there was going to be the party, so they said, well, if you're in town, why don't you come by? I just had the plane pull in and drop me off right there on the helipad. I mean, it's that kind of house. It's monstrous. So you walk in and everything's open air, like there's windows everywhere. I have 2 windows in my apartment. My apartment is where they would store their brooms. Like it's that kind of fucking joint. So, and it's brick facade. It's gorgeous. It's like Max has a house like that too, but it's a little smaller than Chris and his wife's. So, but Chris is he's a partner in a firm. So he's just, and
lawyer?
Financial something. I don't even,
Okay.
again, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, he makes money off of other people's money. Great.
He makes money. That's the end of that sentence. Literally, I don't know. For me, if you make money, hey, guess what? Good for you. I don't, hopefully it's not on the bones of the oppressed, but good.
It's on the Fingerbang skeleton.
Oh, it's on the Fingerbang skeletons of the oppressed.
Bone of the oppressed.
I'm
kidding.
That's okay. But I don't. Again, he does what he does, and he makes really good money doing it. But he has experience because of that. He does all these cool ass things, and so no matter what you say, he's going to top it. Like he's just going to do it, and he's not doing it to be a dick. He's just doing it like, oh, that reminds me. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, great. I can't wait for this to come out because he loves Rick Springfield as much as I love Rick Springfield. He loves Kiss as much as I love Kiss, and Dave loves Kiss. But where I would have a great story about how I went to see Kiss and we sat in the 11th row or whatever with Mike Siegel, and then we were going to go backstage, but we didn't get to because there were these technical malfunctions, and so we could not get backstage to meet Kiss. Mike had beer with Ace Frehley. You know what I mean? Like, or Chris had beers with Ace Frehley. Like, he's got that story. Like, no matter what, he's going to go, oh, that reminds me. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, I don't even want to know what's going to happen here. But I had just seen Rick Springfield, and this is 2 years ago probably, and I had really amazing seats to the point where I was actually in the pit on the floor, and I had pictures on my phone that were really close, including one where he got close enough for me to hug him. And I'm not in the photo, but I have a photo of Rick Springfield that's literally like right, if I had the camera, 4 inches from his face, he's standing right next to me. So I have that photo. And it was just like, oh yeah, I just saw him and it was great. And he's like, oh man, you never seen this? And I'm like, no, I haven't. He brings out a video photo album. You ever seen those? Yeah. So it kind of flips through video, like actual photos, images. Yeah, there's no photos. Exactly. It's a virtual photo album. Exactly. Yeah. And it just starts flipping through of him with Rick Springfield, just hanging out.
Where were they hanging out?
Well, he met him at a book signing, and then wound up hanging out with him after. And there's like a scene where there's one where they're both holding guitars, like and like comparing. Like, I mean, he like became friends with Rick Springfield at this thing, or Rick Springfield hung out and talked to him, and they hit it off or something. And he's got photos of him, and he saw him several different times at different book signings. He'd go to see him, and then he'd wind up talking with him. And there's pictures of him just kind of hanging out. You know, I basically had to tackle him. I had to kneecap him. I had to kick him in the side of the leg so he'd kind of crumble a little bit so he didn't make it to the stage. And then I thrust a phone into his face and took photos. It's like, hey, look how close I was to Rick Springfield. He's like, really? He's the godson to my child. You know what I mean? Like, that reminds me. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, Rick Springfield's going to come over a little later. I hope you'll be gone by then. Anyway, you know, it's just that sort of thing. And he doesn't do that to you. That's how I do it in my fucking brain. You know what I mean? And, but the good news is his house is so big I can just go hide in one of the 40 rooms and not have to get subjected to him telling me how he's met all my heroes. So good for him. So that and even that night when we saw the Bonham Band, you know, it turns out that I guess this theater brings in Rick Springfield and a lot of like those type of acts. And they'll play because it's a venue. Like I said, it's a 2,000 seat venue. It's got a big balcony. It's an old school theater. And I guess it was fucking rotting, but this dude bought it and decided he was just going to book all the people he loved and do what he can to make as much money as he possibly can. And he brings in all these 70s and 80s acts. And I'll tell you what, you're never going to go broke in the fucking Midwest bringing in Ted Nugent and those bands. I mean, you will always. Yeah. I don't give a fuck if you put up a photo of Styx and then played Renegade on a phonograph, you would still sell tickets to it. Literally, people out there are so starved and they are loyal. They are so loyal. Because out here, it's a little different. Like, but you know what? Everybody has those places. But I mean, like Styx will still sell tickets here. But I guarantee you in the Midwest, I'll bet you Styx could sell out a 10,000 seat arena. Yeah. Just because that's that town. It's that area.
You could go to Walmart or you could go to see Styx. That's it.
Kind of. I mean, out here, Depeche Mode could still sell out the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
I'm not sure they could sell out Soldier Field. They'd still do well. They could draw. But I mean, it's just there are bands where you put them up. And that's why these bands all fucking tour every summer. You know, that's why Def Leppard is out. And Def Leppard, I'll tell you what, they keep packaging themselves with all these different bands. Eventually, they're going to run out of other bands to package themselves with. Def Leppard went out with Kiss. Def Leppard has gone out with Tesla. Def Leppard should just go out with, I don't know, is there like some other fucking like rock band that's got a fucked up guy in it? Like, is there somebody who's got, like, who's missing an arm? Is there anybody missing an arm in another band? I don't know. Like that's what they should do. Instead of just like being his bands now pair yourselves with medical oddities. Just do that because, or you know what? Fuck it. Just go out with men without hats. Why not? They're out there on the road. Just go out as Def Leppard. It'd be like Men Without Hats and Drummer Without Arm. That's how you market the tour. The Without Tour. So again, you'll never go broke selling these fucking bands in the Midwest. So Jason Bonham is doing his band. So this dude bought a theater and he's putting these his favorite bands up. And Chris of course knows him, you know, gets to meet the guy or whatever. Yeah, so that deal. And the guy, you know, and Chris I will tell you, he got the tickets for the Bonham show. And we're in the 4th row. I mean, they're just fucking incredible seats for that, you know, and the place was packed. And then the dude who owns the theater, I'll tell you, he's the king of Villa Park or the king of Crest Hill or whatever the fuck it is, because again, everybody knows that he meets those bands and he goes right up to them and he shakes their hand and he gets a picture with them right away. And I'm sure he puts it on social media or whatever. He's like, me with Def Leppard. Yay. I don't know what his fucking life was like, but I know he bought that theater and he kind of remade it. And he starts to bring in all these bands that were his heroes that he loves. And he's the fucking king of the town. And he just looks, He looks like a sound engineer from a 1970s rock film. That's what he looks like. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like he's got a perm. You know what I mean? Like that perm, like that fucking the idiot in Bon Jovi has. Like who's that? Alec John Such, who went out and got his hair. So it looks like he's got a fucking head full of rotini. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. Just that fucking dude. So it's just pin curls, but it's all hanging too, like in his eyes and down, and he's short. Like he's probably 5'6", and he wears like a brown leather coat, like a tan leather coat, not dark brown like bomber jacket, but that tan like Starsky undercover 70s detective. And he wears the collar of a shirt over the brown leather coat. and just the perm, and then his pants are just a little too long, so they go over his shoes. So when he walks in the snow, the cuffs of his pants get wet. You know what I'm talking about? That guy?
Yes.
He's just a drip. But it doesn't fucking matter because he bought that theater and he brings in these bands. And I should tell you, all of that said, I loved the guy. Because he came out, and again, he makes it about him, where he's just like, hey, I'm Rodney, and woo, the place goes crazy, because they know who fucking Rodney is. He's the guy who bought the theater and made it into something in their own fucking piece of shit town. And then he's like, I'm so happy to bring you guys, fucking Bonham tonight, and they all go crazy, but he's just, that's his moment. And I remember at the time, in this fucking time frame that it was happening, in my head, I'm just like, Rodney, you don't need to fucking do this. And then in the very next breath, I went, yes, he does. He absolutely needs to fucking do this. That's why he bought the theater. That's why he made it what it is today. Yeah. And that's why he fucking cares. Why shouldn't Rodney have a good time? Why shouldn't Rodney go ahead and come out here and take his moment of fucking glory? He paid for this theater. He built it back into what he wanted it to be. And he sold out this fucking house. He brought in Bonham, and then he brings out, he's got, those flyers that it looks like he printed in his house. Yep. And he's also got fancy press and all sorts of stuff like that. But then those flyers are available. And it's to the point where I think it was an aesthetic choice. So you could grab those flyers on the way out like you did when you were a kid, and they would hand you stuff. So he's reading off the flyer. He's like, and we've got Foghat coming to town. Woo! Everybody goes crazy. And I'm like, well, that is a slow ride away from the theater for me, because I am not into Foghat at all. But you know who I am into? Fucking Rodney. So he comes out and he gives his spiel. And we go and sit in the fourth fucking row, and we're on the far right end. And I'm in the. So this is about 2 years ago, because I'm fat me, not super fat, but I was back up around like 340. This is when things were pretty miserable, and so I take the last seat in the row, and we go to the show, and the four of us are there, and we're making fun of it, but at the same time we're excited to see it. Yeah. Because we love Led Zeppelin, and. I've seen Kiss tribute bands. I mean, I talked about how I saw Strutter. I saw a Kiss tribute band named Strutter, and I saw them in Chicago. And I was with Max, and we're in the balcony, and Strutter walks out, on the balcony, by us. Excuse me, and they're in their full-on Kiss fucking suits. So again, as I've said before, if John and Larry and Chris and Bob walk out, you just go, fuck, who are those idiots? Yeah. But if John and Larry and Chris and Bob put on Kiss costumes and makeup and they walk out in fucking dragon boots, you go, holy shit, it's fake Kiss. I'm in. I don't give a fuck that Bob's an accountant or whatever the fuck he does with his life. That day, he's the cat man, and I'm in. I'm on fucking board. But so we're in the balcony, and I must admit, I got this weird charge when Kiss walked out next to me. I'm just, what the fuck? And they were just there to be Strutter and do their fucking thing and throw up bombs. Not throw up bombs, but throw bombs. Ugh, don't throw up bombs. Ugh. That's terrible.
Like a cat.
Isn't that that's like a video game? Didn't Bomberman do that? Did he carry bombs or did he throw them up?
I have no idea.
I want to invent that video game.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, you should listen to the fucking Comedy Film Nerd show I did today, and I did the spoiler episode of Jurassic Park, and I actually outlined the next 2 Jurassic Park sequels, what they should be. And Graham Elwood just looks at me and he goes, fuck, that's a really good idea. I'm like, yes, isn't it? And he's just like, I just got chills thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right. And I look forward to all of you listening and going, that's a dumb idea.
Does it all take place in a bowling alley?
Why would that happen?
I don't know. I'd like to see dinosaurs bowl. Oh, just a T-Rex bowling league. Wouldn't that be great?
No, you know what? Here's what I say. I say let's take the skinheads bowling. That's what I would do.
I love you, Mike.
That's a pretty good movie.
You make me happy right now.
That's a movie I would see.
You give me faith in mankind again. Let's take the skinheads bowling. I want to go post that on my Facebook page.
Just do it. Yeah, why not?
Celebrate the world.
Let's do it. That's the movie I make. That's a movie I go see, certainly. Let's take the skinheads bowling. All right, so we go and we're sitting in this fucking row, and we're talking. And like I said, we're kind of making fun of it, but we're also excited because we want to see what it's going to be. And Rodney comes out and he gives his spiel. And it's that kind of thing where everybody's drinking wine out of plastic cups.
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
When Jill and I went to see Rick Springfield, we've seen him twice now. And by the way, if she didn't leave me after either of those times, that story's definitely not going to fucking chase her away. She's in for the long goddamn haul, right? If she went and saw stripped down Rick in a storytelling show and then saw Rick do a full live electric show, she's seen the gamut of Springfield. And so she's never leaving. She's pot committed at this fucking point. So I can tell any story I wanted. Perhaps I will. One time, we went for pasta. Now, I probably won't tell that story. All right, so we're at the Zeppelin thing, and we're kind of making fun of it, but we're also kind of excited about it because we want to see what it's going to be. So the point of this whole story was they come out and they're technically brilliant. I mean, they are, to me, amazing. The guy's doing John Paul Jones, and the page is really good. And they're not, I will tell you this, they're not really trying to look like Led Zeppelin, thankfully. You know, with Kiss, you have to dress up like Kiss. That's the whole deal. Yeah. You've got to convey the visual of it. Well, these guys just had to be really good musicians, and you got to have a good plan. That's it. If you're gonna have a Zeppelin tribute band, you got to nail the music, and you have to have a good plan. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know the name of the guy that Jason got to be the Zeppelin guy. You'd think I should probably have it on hand since I'm doing the fucking show. But this dude comes out and he's bald. He's just a bald guy, and he's got like a kind of scruffy facial hair. He's got I think he had a goatee. And the second he opens his mouth, 2,000 people just go, because it's phenomenal to me how much he nailed the Robert Plant. It was ridiculous. It was like to the point where you're just kind of like, you know, I talked on here once about how everybody gets mad at bands because they stick around too long and then they bring in a new singer or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, if Jimmy Page saw that dude and said, you know what, maybe I could do something with that guy. You know what I mean? And because you're not going to recapture the magic of Zeppelin, but if Page wanted to go out and do Zeppelin songs, you could do a lot fucking worse than that dude first of all, by calling Robert Plant. I mean, because he's not exactly going to pull it off anymore.
Really?
He can't hit any of those notes anymore.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe me? Call Dave. Because Max will tell you, I mean, like, it's so funny. It must be annoying, like, when people talk comedy with me. You know, if you analyze it and you really start to kind of do, and not annoying, let's put it this way, because it's fascinating because if you don't know it and you hear me break it down and I tell you why this is funny or why this is a trick or why triples work and all that kind of stuff and hard case sounds, whatever the fuck. If I told you those things, it's like a magician showing you how he's able to pull a fucking rabbit out of his hat. You know what I mean? You kind of like, well, that's awesome that I know, but I kind of don't want to know. You know what I mean? You just learn the shorthand of it and you learn the secrets of it. Yeah. Well, that's what Dave is like with musicians. Like he's exposed me to so many things that I never knew what they were. I didn't know what it was. I'm trying to remember what song. There's a run in Kashmir, I think it is, and where because I didn't know this about John Bonham. Like he uses a one bass pedal. Okay. Now I didn't know that. I thought he had like a whole fucking kit, and I never even really thought about it. But if you listen to their music, I don't know how he humanly could do the things that he does. There's a thing in Kashmir where he goes, like, and there's no way humanly your foot could go, but Max is like, yeah, listen to this. And he would make me hear it. And I'd go, Jesus Christ. And he's like, that's literally his one foot. He's doing that, like with one pedal. And I was like, geez, you hear it and it's astonishing. Yeah. And you realize why John Bonham was the fucking greatest of all time, or, you know, or Keith Moon or anybody. Yeah. When Max isolates stuff, like he played live at Leeds, you know, and I would tell you that I had heard live at Leeds before, but he played it for me, and to hear it from I just wanted to hear it from his perspective, because the first song starts, and then out of fucking nowhere, it's just like this beginning is real quiet, and then, you know, the fucking tornado that is Keith Moon it hits the ground, and then it destroys Leeds. It just fucking torches everybody, and Max my favorite. The joy he takes in it is so fucking brilliant. It's like when we've been here and you've been watching videos of burlesque people or whatever, and you make me laugh because you'll be like this. You're just like, oh, I want to fuck that chick. Oh my God. Like you'll see somebody who's so good. Yeah. Yeah. And you'll lose yourself in it, and you'll just be like, and you'll show me, you'll go, you see that with the glove, or you'll see that with the fan, you see that with the boa. Yep. This is why this is good. And this is why this is the best. And you'll break it down for me, because you know that. That's not my world. Well, David with music, he'll like, you played the beginning of Live at Leeds, and he just starts laughing like a child, because you hear it and you can't fathom the brilliance of it, and you just, because again, it's so stratospheric away from because again, he's incredibly talented. I think David does things that I couldn't even dream of doing, but for him to hear, like, he'll tell me about John Paul Jones and he'll be like, you have no idea how amazing John Paul Jones is. You don't know, like, because I didn't realize John Paul Jones was like playing the bass with his feet while he was playing keyboards in some songs in live. he's like, John Paul Jones is the key to the whole fucking band. I mean, he and Bonham are fucking holding it down. And he would explain everything because he will talk for hours about it. I mean, it's awesome because I find it fascinating because I don't know that stuff. So when we watched the Zeppelin tribute band, when I find myself watching the band, but watching David, because I want to see how he's reacting and how he feels, and if he thinks the same thing that I think when I hear a guy being great, am I being fooled? You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Is this Halloween or is this as good as I think it is? And I'll see him and I'll see him smiling, or he'll look at me and he'll just in the middle of a concert, I'll be looking at David or I'll look over at him and he'll just stop and he'll look at him and he go, "That's no fucking joke." And he'll turn around and just look back at the stage. And he kept. This is the best part. We're on the we're stage left. So we're all the way on the right-hand side of the venue. And he kept kind of like leaning and cheating out, trying to see around because he wanted to see how he was doing the drumming. He wanted to see if Jason had multiple pedals. And finally, I think it took like 3 songs for him finally to kind of cheat around and look. And he looks at me and he goes, 2 pedals. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yep, 2 pedals.
Oh, yeah.
But still, you're wondering how he's pulling it off. Well, it's because he has 2 fucking drum pedals. And look, that's not taking nothing away from Jason Bonham to go, oh, you can't do that stuff that one of the greatest drummers of all time did, your dad. But he's still bringing it and still crushing it and making it sound so good. And then he surrounded himself with brilliant musicians. The guy who was playing guitar was fantastic. And he did the bow solo. And the singer, man, I don't know. See, here's the deal. As I've mentioned on here, I am endlessly fascinated by people who can do things that I can't do. I can't sing. So I don't know if I'm going to be ascribing this guy some special powers that he doesn't really have. because not only is he doing something I can't do, but he's doing it in such a phenomenal way. And he's singing like, quite frankly, one of the greatest, perhaps the greatest rock frontman in history, for my money. Mm-hmm. Look at you tossing your hair about. Robert Plant style, a la Robert Plant. This singer, from the second they open up, he starts singing, and it was that thing where you all get chills and you look at one another. Because I look at Dave, and the second he starts singing, we just started laughing because it was so, they sounded so good, and he sounded ridiculous. My favorite Led Zeppelin song off of my favorite Led Zeppelin album is 10 Years Gone off of Physical Graffiti. That is my favorite Led Zeppelin song. It's funny. I had this conversation once at a sushi bar with Valkyrie. Well, I don't want to say. I know she wants me to say her last name. Although I guess you could just kind of go on Facebook and look up Valkyrie, and you're going to find her. My friend Valkyrie. She actually came. Remember, she came here to L.A. and then we went for sushi, and we started talking Led Zeppelin, and she's like, "What's your favorite album?" I said, "Physical Graffiti," and she's like, "What?" Like, kind of give me this look, and I go, "Yeah, it is." It's fucking brilliant. Like I said, they're perfect albums. Toys in the Attic, Physical Graffiti. So 10 Years Gone is a perfect song. It is perfection in music, in my opinion. And they started to play it, just the little chord part, and I'm waiting because I'm so excited to even hear it live and just to hear it, period, because I love it. And he comes to the microphone, and you have to, that song, you don't belt it. When you start out, you're almost tossing it off in the beginning. You're just kind of like throwing away the line. And he even had the physical manifestation of somebody just kind of throwing something away. It was gorgeous. He walks up to the microphone. He kind of put both hands on the mic stand, and he's kind of holding it with that little prayer stance. And he's not even looking at the audience. And he looks down and he says I'm not going to sing it. But he says the first line, and I just laughed. I mean, it was kind of quiet because it's a quiet song, but I'm like, ha ha! I was so happy, and they crushed it. He crushed it. The music was so good, and he was phenomenal. It was that thing where I looked at David, and we were just laughing like kids because it was almost like being in a room with fucking Led Zeppelin, as close as we're gonna get, for fuck's sake. And the only guy happier than I think me and David and Chris and Kenny, although I don't know if Kenny was happy. Kenny's glum. But me and Chris and Dave, we were into it. But the only guy happier than us was Jason Bonham. Man, he looked like he was so happy because they had a screen behind them, and he was putting up home movies and photos of him sitting on his dad's lap at the drum set, and stuff of him growing up and with his father, and backstage, and was. It was just phenomenal. It was this really awesome tribute to his dad and his dad's music. And then he crushed his dad's music because he can drum and everything was fucking awesome. But we loved it. It was so great. The band was fantastic. The music was perfect. And I know somewhere in the bowels of the building, Rodney was thrilled. Yes! So happy! His perm got straightened out. That's how fucking good the band was. But David, watching him break it down and try to peek and see if he was cheating on the bass pedal, and he kind of was because he had 2 drum pedals, and he was looking at the John Paul Jones guy to see how he was playing the bass, and you can see his mind at work. It's like when I watch a comedian, I'm deconstructing jokes, I'm going, you should have gone this way, could have gone this way. I appreciate that. It's like when a comedian, they say they never laughed. I'll just watch them like, oh, that's funny. Well, because we're doing the math. And the same thing with a musician, but you can still enjoy it. Like I can watch fucking Louis C.K. or I can watch some brilliant comedian and go, God damn, that's awesome and that's hilarious, but it doesn't mean I'm going to die laughing. But then there is the stuff that is just pure joy that makes you laugh. Like when David saw the band and they did Zeppelin stuff and he just started laughing, that's pure joy. There is comedy stuff for me that is pure joy. There was I just got to talking to somebody about this the other day. And I've probably mentioned it on here. I always say that if space aliens came to Earth and wanted to know what comedy was, I would show them the scene from Mad, 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 Mad World where Dick Shawn won't answer the phone. It is, for me, it is so perfect. Ethel Merman's in a phone booth and the phone's ringing and they cut to his house and there's a woman in a fringe bikini dancing with a serious face and Dick Shawn is just running around with his cock hanging out and hitting himself in the head and dancing and just joyously living life and so happy, so goddamn happy. But that's comedy because again, you don't know what's happening. You never know what's on the other end of a ringing phone. It could be anything. Yeah. And that is truly anything. He lives in a goddamn jungle bungalow. He's just wearing a pair of fucking swim trunks. And there's a woman in a fringe fucking bikini doing do, ice cream 31 flavors. And we like tutti fruity best. And Dick Shawn's hating himself. So great. But I love that so much. I think I really love it. Like would hug it, that scene. I love it so much. Well, I'm serious. Like there's things that you love that bring you joy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when you see a dancer and you go, that brings me such joy. I can't wait to see it again. Yes. It's like, I will say I felt that way, not full on, but there have been, like I've come to your show. When I saw the Vavau sisters do Sister Christian, I was like, I want
to lick their brains.
It explained everything. Yeah. It literally, if you were to try to explain burlesque to somebody and go, well, it's this and then it's that, and you're kind of, and there's different, fan dances and there's sultry and then there's all these different, there's a reverse strip and literally just say, you know what, fucking watch this. And watch the Vavau sisters do Sister Christian. And you're like, I get it. I totally get what everybody's trying to do. Because it had enough funny and sexy and everything. Well, so for me, the Dick Shawn scene, but literally, and again, this is just for me, because you all have your own celebrations of things that you think are brilliant and you hear them and they bring you joy. For me, like a manifestation of absolute joy for me would be like when Leno made Letterman laugh. In the old days, that was just, I was so happy with it. But dudes, I was just talking to somebody the other day about this, and I just, there is nothing more perfect than the Rick James and Prince sketches on Dave Chappelle. Nothing. There is nothing more perfect than the Charlie Murphy True Hollywood Stories with Rick James and fucking Prince. I remember Jeff calling me to tell me, hey, did you see this? You got to see this. And Mex too. So I caught the rerun that week, and it was like I was 5 years old watching Thomas the Tank Engine. I was bouncing in my chair, and I'm going, oh, dude! And to this day, I could talk about it forever. It is the greatest piece of comedy because it's true. You know what fucking happened. And the best, dude, the idea to have Chappelle dress up as Rick James and act like Rick James and act all gangsterish and be a fucking asshole. And then to have the real Rick James confirming all of the stories. It's brilliance. It's absolute brilliance. Like when Rick James does the thing, he goes, I'm not going to come over and just destroy somebody's couch. I can't do, I got a little more sense than that. Yeah, I remember messing up his couch. And they rewind it to make him say it again. Just the idea of that story where Rick James comes to Eddie Murphy's house and it's Dave Chappelle. He walks in, he climbs on the couch with dirty boots and he just says, fuck your couch. Fuck your couch. And he's grinding the dirt. And he's grinding dirt in his couch. So they beat him up. They beat up Rick James. It's Eddie Murphy, his brother, and Rick James in a house. Rick James fucks their couch up. They punch him in the legs until he can't walk and he crawls out of their house, crawls into a car and drives off. Think about how brilliant that is. If that happened with your friends, you'd tell that story forever. But it happened with Eddie Murphy and Rick James for real. We whipped his legs. His legs were like linguine. That's what Charlie Murphy said. And then the fucking Chappelle crawling out of the house and going, you wide nose, you dark skin. They should have never gave you niggas money. Oh, and he's fucking, goddamn, yeah, you can get a new couch, Eddie Murphy. What about my legs, Eddie Murphy? Imagine it. Imagine it happening. Rick James in his fucking full-on Rick James outfit, and they beat the shit out of him. He has to crawl out of the house. Oh, dude. And then they still hang out with him. Charlie Murphy walks in the club, and Rick James jumps in front of him and goes, Charlie Murphy, and punches him in the face. God damn it. Literally, I can't contain myself with how brilliant they are. Prince, again, things that you laugh at that blow your mind. Dude, when Eddie Murphy, when fucking Charlie Murphy goes to Prince's house, and then Prince asks if they want to play basketball, they start laughing because they're going to kill him. They get a butler to get them basketball clothes. They go to the gym, and in that reveal where he goes, we get down there, and then they play the music, and they show Prince walking in sideways. He goes, they're still wearing the same shit they were wearing at the club. He makes them change. He gets them fucking gym clothes. He has his butler or whatever the fuck get them gym clothes, and they put it on. Weird, strange gym clothes to play basketball. They wear the fucking Mickey Free from Shalimar and Prince Kicked Your Ass at Basketball in their club outfits with their heels on. I have stories. I have dumb shit about glory holes and fucking hiding in people's houses and falling asleep at work, and I have all those stories, and I can tell them all fucking day. But if Charlie Murphy told a story about Prince and Mickey Free from Shalimar beating him at basketball while wearing the outfits they wore in the club, I would never speak again. Like, literally. You know who Charlie Murphy is? He's the Chris B of fucking comedy for me. I would meet Charlie Murphy, and I would sit there and I'd look at him and I'd go, hey, you know what? This is fucking hysterical, man. One time I was working at a 7-Eleven and I fell asleep in the back, and then we watched the videotape in front of cops, and they had to make me sit there, and it was this crazy thing, and these guys came in like 12 times and they stole a bunch of shit and they cleared the store out. And Charlie Murphy would go, man, that's hysterical. Hey, that reminds me. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can find our friend David Hernandez, who I've mentioned earlier, and I guess I didn't really wrap that up. I'll talk about it on the way out. But you can find David Hernandez at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez, or you can visit his website, artbydmh.com, ARTBYDMH.com, for all of his cool stuff that he does. He does paintings, he does his guy cons, and he can actually be commissioned by you to do some artwork, some actual professional type stuff that he's really good at. Go ahead and contact him through artbydmh.com, and he can negotiate a price, tell you what he charges. You guys can get him on board. Father's Day's coming up. Why not get a painting of your dad punching Brad Pitt? Go ahead and contact David at artbydmh.com. Of course, our friend Ryan Dirks does all of the website stuff, the web work for our show. You can find him at facebook.com/Ryan Dirks, or you can find him at littleprofiles/RyanDirks.com. I hope. Something like, God damn it, someday. I just need to, I'm going to get a tattoo to my fucking forearm so I just fucking know what it is. That's what I have to do. And of course, Lily Von Stroop is the producer of this show, ostensibly. She's more just kind of sitting here staring at me now to make sure that I do the right stuff. And remember, Mom's in a bit of a mood. And you know what? I'll talk about that on the other side, too, because I never really exactly told why.
I still don't understand what you're talking about.
I'll get into it shortly. Well, you've recovered. I've brought you back from the brink with my laughter powers, but... that's our friend Lily Von Stroop. She produces this show, and she's grand. You can find her at facebook.com/Lily Von Stroop. You can follow her at several different Twitter accounts, twitter.com/Lily Von Stroop, twitter.com/MNTs, and twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. But if you'd like to write her a personal note,
oh shit,
and ask her just exactly what she fucking does for this show now that I'm running everything, you can get her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
I was dreaming of the past, and my heart was beating fast. began to lose control. I began to lose control. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. I was feeling insecure. You might not love me anymore. I was shivering inside. I was shivering inside. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. I was trying to catch your eyes. Thought that you was trying to hide. I was swallowing my pain. I was swallowing my pain. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh, I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy, look out. I'm just a jealous guy, watch out. I'm just a jealous guy.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. It is truly the most spectacular spectacle you will ever see. That's like saying it's the most fantastical thing you've ever seen.
It's a spectacle.
Well, look, it's a lot of naked ladies, man. And they're walking around and they're putting whipped cream on you and they're maybe licking it off. Who knows? You're in. It's a fantastic show. A lot of girls doing the splits. Come and check it out, man. A lot of feathers. A lot of shiny stuff. They hand out Sharpies. You get to sign the girls. It's fucking perfect, man. This show's amazing. I'll tell you what, though. This is weird. It's a burlesque show, and certainly there's naked ladies. But we've had a little problem with the crowd recently, so you will be sitting behind chicken wire. I hope that's not a problem.
That would be awesome if I had a venue that had chicken wire.
So there's chicken wire. You'll be sitting behind it. But I will tell you this. I guarantee fat guy in sunglasses with a whip. So that's going to be fucking perfect. Head him up, move him out, roar high. Cut him out. Ride him in. Cut him out. Ride him in raw hide.
See, and I would have gone, rubber biscuit!
Hey,
Bow, bow, bow. I can't roll my arms because of my
You
TMJ.
can't? Really? How's that? That's vexed your tongue that way?
It affects my entire jaw is fucked up to the point of where it hurts all the time and I'm deaf in my left ear.
Well, that's grim.
Yeah.
I will say. You know what I'm going to say to you? That's grim.
Fuck you!
I rolled it. Let's roll it.
That's what
Steve Woodward would say. Like that.
Roll your S's.
Is that how you do it?
I love that I'm making
I'll do
dance,
it.
monkey boy dance.
I'll make as many stupid noises as possible in this show. Why not?
Make the bone.
It was free.
Finger banging thing again. That is gross.
That's when your
That is
finger.
also the same noise as your mice and rat noise, I think, and your bed bugs, and your. I think all animals make that noise, and so does finger banging.
That's a finger banging skeleton noise. That's exclusive now. They have a patent on it. Whenever you hear that noise, think of a fucking skeleton knuckle deep in another skeleton.
How can they even get in? Because your hip bones don't go all the way around. You can't. It doesn't. Do you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
That reminds me of the guy in the jail cell at Disneyland in the Haunted Mansion trying to get the dog to come over.
Oh, what I just did with my,
With that-
yeah, he's like doing that, whistling,
boy.
doing that. Yeah, and
Ding,
then
ding, 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 ding.
the dog kind of does
And the
all that
dog
number.
just rattles it slightly. And I don't think that's still there, is it?
You know what reminds me of the Haunted Mansion? Attention, ghostly ghouls and goblins. Pay no attention to the finger-banging skeletons on the other side of the glass.
Oh, could you imagine if those were in the little hitchhiking booth thing as you're leaving?
Awesome.
Two skeletons having
Just
sex
finger
in the
banging.
booth?
Yeah, instead of like your little, you may be bringing home a hitchhiker.
Would they be doing it like this?
Oh, yeah. Damn it.
They would be thumbing it instead of finger banging it.
That's how hitchhikers are. Oh, yeah.
Oh, god damn it. I can't believe I went there.
Finger banging skeletons. I like it. That's the name of my wedding band. Think I'll ever get hired. I would start a wedding band called Finger Banging Skeletons.
I think you should marry Jill just so you can put that name on the reception thing, no matter who you hire. And the band for the reception will be Finger Banging Skeletons.
Doesn't matter who they are.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I will hire you, and I'll actually pay you 1 1/4 times your rate.
1 1/4.
That's right.
You missed a big spend.
Go a little over, but you must use my bass
You are
drum.
a total BS.
You must use my bass drum, and then it's just Finger Banging Skeletons, and I guarantee they're in, because you know what? That market is drying up.
I think Mex should play your wedding if you get married.
Oh my God! Just him and a zither
Just him and his 17 instruments.
and a harpsichord.
And he'll play the wedding march, but he'll play it serially on each instrument because he can't play them all at once. Dun, 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 dun. That's the funeral march, isn't it?
I don't know.
Same thing.
Hey, my name's David Hernandez. Does anyone have any requests out there? Hey, jealousy! Fuck you! No, no, no! Not happening.
That's fucking funny.
Tell me you think you'd be alright. Shut up! I don't recognize that song.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
Max in an upright bass playing fucking new Jim Blossom songs. And that's the thing, is he could have done such great stuff with that song. I was like, just do it. And he's like, no. He didn't even know what it is. Because he doesn't like gin and he doesn't like blossoms. He doesn't like hay. So the Monday Night Tease show,
God, yes.
which everyone loves, is fantastic, and people are going to it in flocks and droves. And as a matter of fact, flocks and droves are there this week. You should check
They
them
are,
out.
yeah.
They'll be stripping away. The producer of that show is one of my favorite people in the whole world, even when she's in a snit. But she is still overwhelmingly popular and beloved by the masses. Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
don't know about that.
puts on an amazing show. Good friend of mine, one of my best friends, quite frankly. Let's all hear it for our good friend and the producer of this show, Lily Von Stupp. Hi, Lily. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Fantastic. And how are things at the Tees?
Things are good at the teas.
Going well. Everybody's stripping. Everybody in the club getting strippy. Everybody getting it done over there. Well, that's good news. Who was there last week?
Last week was Lux and Diamondback Annie's show.
Now, I know you had a guy covered in blood at the last show.
We did. Armitage Shanks out of Portland, Oregon, the Carney Preacher. Jesus, he was amazing.
Armitage Shanks sounds like a restaurant that sells organic pork.
Really?
It does.
No.
Hey,
he's
come
a
in and
circus
bed down at
star, he
Armitage
sings,
Shanks.
And he's an incredible MC, and he's an all-around, just really good performer.
And he killed it for you the other night?
He killed it for them. Yeah, he had just hosted the Big Top at Ink and Iron and Queen Mary, and before that, he had done the main stage at Burlesque Hall of Fame as well. He's an incredible MC.
Someone on my Facebook kept posting about that Ink and Iron, and I didn't know if they were there or they were dancing or what they were doing. I forget who it was, but
Well,
they kept
I was
posting
gonna
about it.
go because they wanted me to do Dr. Sketchy's there, but then they offered me just free passes, and I said, well, free passes don't pay my rent, and they were like, well, that's what we're gonna do, and I was like, well, no, that's not what we're gonna do, so you can do your own drawing salon then.
Perfect. Good
Bye.
thinking. Jill has just gotten a new tattoo.
Did she get ink or iron?
She's gotten ink, but they're going to iron it on soon. But again, as you all know, I'm a psychopath, so she's getting it finished next week.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm about to, well, you don't know because you don't listen anymore, but I've talked on here about how I'm just like kind of protecting her from everybody and trying to keep her from, running away, which is so dumb.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with?
Well, because there's going to be a man with his hands all over her, and I'm not going to be there next week. And
That's probably good because you would probably punch him.
well, it depends
no
on if you got
apparent
if you got a
reason.
little if you got handsy. Certainly, absolutely. Again, I've talked about it on here ad nauseum, and it's my problem more than anybody else's, certainly. But yeah, I was there for her when she got the initial ink done on her arm. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just amazing what she picked out, and she's got these different flowers. And but next week she gets it colored, and she gets the coloring done. And I was
Colors.
going to be so I was going to be there for it, and now it turns out I'm not going to be there for the coloring part, and that's a 4-hour sit. So she's going to be there for 4 hours with half of her shirt off with some dude, and I'm just like, okay. Do we FaceTime that entire time? Can you plug your phone into a Mophie and we'll talk? I don't know. I'm that guy. It's me. Again, I'm a fucking banana head. But banana head do. So that's happening next week. So that's why I thought of it with ink and iron, with the tattoo thing. So that was an amazing show. Who's going to be at the Monday Night Tea next week?
Everyone.
What the?
Yeah, it's the Hollywood Burlesque Festival fundraiser. It is, I think, the only fundraiser we're doing. It's $20. There are 3 shows. There's a 9 o'clock, a 10 o'clock, and an 11 o'clock show.
Holy God.
$20 gets you into all of them. I think we have 17 performers.
Jesus.
Yeah. We're doing some choreographed numbers at 9. The Wheel of Burlesque, where they get to spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, they strip to. And then the 11 o'clock is a bunch of choreographed numbers as well.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be a long, fun night. We're going to have a photo booth where we're going to have, you can get your picture taken with the Hollywood Burlesque Festival Chorus Line Girls. There's going to be all sorts of fun stuff that you can use to take pictures, and it's going to be a big party to try to raise money for the festival.
I may make my way over to that party.
You should. It'll be really good.
Sounds like it's going to be incredibly fun.
Yeah.
So, people, if you're in town, go next week. And tickets are available now, I would assume, at brownpapertickets.com. If you go to brownpapertickets.com, you can get tickets for all sorts of Monday Night Teases that are on the horizon. But next week sounds like the one you really want to go to. It's a 3-hour show.
And Sheila is performing.
Sheila Star
reigning Miss
Ciani.
Hollywood Burlesque.
She is the reigning Miss Hollywood Burlesque, and she will be there next week. I think it was her who put up the ink and iron stuff.
Might have been.
Maybe. So she'll be there next week performing all sorts of different performers, spinning a wheel of burlesque, everybody doing their choreographed acts all next week. That's Monday. And that is, I believe, the 22nd,
Yes,
June
it is.
22nd. There is
There's
going
also
to be
no panty day, by the way, if you don't know that.
no panty day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be truly honest with you now. Every day for me is no panty day. So,
Thanks.
just letting you know. So June the 22nd, that's next Monday. There's a fantastic show. It's a fundraiser for the Hollywood Burlesque Festival, which is on the horizon, folks. And if you want to make it happen, go ahead and go next week, buy tickets, and go check it out. Have a good time at the show. That'll be fantastically fun and amazing. Our friend David Hernandez, as I've mentioned, has his website, artbydmh.com. Go and check that out and commission him to do some artwork for you. You can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. There's all sorts of cool stuff there. There's a blog that has my 19 favorite songs of all time. You can go ahead and check that out, I think. That might be there. As well as all sorts of different pages there, artwork, cool stuff. But if you go to the Joe Business page, we're selling stuff still. We've got T-shirts available for you to check out and peruse. The Yer Dirt Dirt shirt, those are available. I just sent a couple out this week. And, of course, my CD, The Big Angry, is there. If you purchase that, I'll sign it for you and send it. You've got downloads year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7 of this podcast. Year 7 not available just yet. Years 1 through 6 are available individually or as part of the Reservoir Schmidt Dogs box set. We've got, of course, Schmitty Comes Alive. No, we don't. We have Schmidt Alive 2. That's available as a video/audio download companion type piece. And that was from the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. Hey, guys, asking me if I'm going to be at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. Here's my answer to you. Don't know. Still waiting to hear. I've been told that I'll be told eventually. Hopefully before the festival. Because if they come to me after the festival and tell me that I'm performing, that would be very awkward.
Why don't you just rent a space, sell tickets, and do one while the festival's happening?
Well, that's a possibility. I'm waiting to hear from the festival guys because I like doing the festival. Yes.
If people are are coming for that, they can still go to the festival then and see you.
Indeed, they can. And they
Let's
wouldn't.
do that.
They
Let's
wouldn't be
just book
seeing
a
me
black
at
box
noon.
theater.
Okay. Well, that's definitely something that's been talked about.
I'm gonna do it right now. I'm setting it up. I'm gonna set it up, and people can go buy the tickets at clittleschmitty.brownpapertickets.com.
Okay.
And that's the letter C.
Yeah. Well, that's good enough for me.
Seriously, let's just do that, and we'll just run a small theater and 50 tickets, and that's it.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I've thought of it,
No,
certainly.
let's just do it.
I hear what you're saying.
Why are you waiting for them? Just do it.
Yeah, I
You
know.
can still do your podcast there.
Well,
You can do 2 in one weekend.
Well, I probably
you
can.
Did 2
Well,
in one
but no
day.
one's going to want to come and see me twice. Why would anybody want to do that? That seems ridiculous.
Here's the thing: if they're coming there, they'll easily come see you anyway for an extra few bucks.
Well, not if I'm head to head with some show they really want to see.
Don't do it head to head with some show they really want to see.
Well, but if
do
you
it
put
on the Thursday before.
a Thursday show.
Have them
Ooh,
come out the day before.
that's grim.
Do
Thursday.
it during lunch.
Well, because that's when the podcast festival puts me on. That's the whole point. I would book a nighttime show because I guarantee if I'm doing Podfest, they're going to put me on at fucking 9 in the morning again. So I would try to make sure I had a night venue, but then again, I'm bumping into whatever the big shows are over there. And
Nobody
podcast
cares. They're
fans,
coming for
well,
you, they're
you
coming
say
for
that,
you.
but podcast fans are podcast fans. So they like
say
me.
4 a.m. in your hotel room.
Again, as you know, 2 years ago when it looked like I was not going to be part of the festival, that was going to happen.
Then let's do that. You're going to do it at 4 a.m. in your hotel room. BYO little bottles of liquor. And we'll record it in the hotel room. It'll be awesome.
We lost the initial conceit there really quickly. BYU little bottles of liquor, like
Little
BYO.
bottles of liquor.
I know.
BYO
So
little bottles of liquor.
so BYO LBOL. Why didn't you go that far?
Well, because I am dyslexic and there's too many letters.
So
We're totally doing this. Book your tickets to come out. If he's not in the Podfest, we're doing one.
you don't even produce the show anymore, and
Yes,
you're going to organize
I'm
this.
sitting right here making. I am an executive producer, and I am making an executive decision. We're doing a podcast during that festival,
Right.
either with them or without.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Well, good. You let me know how that turns out.
I'm booking you right now, 4 a.m. on Saturday.
4 a.m. seems late.
Okay, 2 a.m. on Saturday.
Well, see, you were talking to regular people, grown-ups. You know what I mean? They're gonna be tired from watching 5 different Doug Benson shows over 2 days. I can't. I'm not in the festival yet, but I know Doug's got like 5 slots committed. So maybe he'll have me as a guest. I don't know.
I don't know why you're waiting for other people to have your.
Because it's their event and their festival, and
you know what?
Yes.
Do you think that you need to wait for a seat at the table?
Nobody needs to do anything.
Just make a table. Let's do it. We're making our own kids' table over here, and we're at a podcast in a hotel room. It's
Okay.
gonna be awesome. And it's $75 a ticket, and it's open to 3 people.
3 seems light. I sell 10 at 75 each.
Okay.
I think so. I would do that. Yeah, why not? And then and you know what? Because here's the thing. Because it's in my room.
Yeah.
So like, because Jill's gonna be here.
Yeah.
So it'll be me, Jill, you, and then we'll sell 10 tickets, and I'll do a show. Like I'll talk for just 2 hours, and then we'll all sleep over.
Oh, that would
We'll
be
tell
awesome.
ghost stories and shit, and we'll just have like Doritos and watch fucking movies.
I'm in. Honestly,
Dude,
I think
do you
this
think
will
that makes
sell out
sense?
right now.
How fun would that be? Like would people? But again, why am I making them pay? Like to come to a slumber party with me?
Because you have to pay for the hotel room, just like you would have to pay for the theater.
But that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's like a neat idea. Just like a fucking slumber party.
Okay, it's $75, but it's $55 if you bring a covered dish.
Wow. We're going potluck in my room?
Why not?
This is walking a thin line.
I don't think it's walking a thin line at all. I think it's great.
I think it's brilliant because, again, this
We're
was an
totally
idea.
doing it.
2 years ago, this
But
was...
We're totally doing that. And then if you get to do a podcast there as well, great. And if you don't, you get to spend intimate time with super fans.
Yeah, 75's high, though.
Okay, $42.
I love that cover charge, that $2. I love that little ticket fee. That's fun.
We're totally doing this. By next week, we will have the details hammered out.
We should probably talk about this off the air, I would
No,
imagine.
by next week, we will have the details hammered out. It will be up and for sale. People are coming anyway.
Yes.
They're going to pay, whatever, $25 to see you.
To do what? To
To
sit...
have a private,
But
intimate
honestly,
meet and
but
greet
that's
podcast with
totally,
you.
to me, that's a really fun idea. To just
that's what
go...
I'm saying, but for
tell stories in the room, and then literally we could watch pay-per-view movies and order pizza and hang out and have a weird slumber party in the room. I mean, I fucking dig that idea. I know it sounds weird, but I mean, that kind of shit sounds fun to
I'm not
me.
staying for the pay-per-view and the pizza, but
What the fuck? Why are you not? No, you're in, dude. If you're in, you're fucking in.
I can't eat the pizza. Don't put it in front of me.
Well, we'll get you something. It'll be me, you, and because again, Jill's gonna be in town, so it'll be me, Jill, you, and people will meet, us, and we'll hang out, and then I'll do shows. I'll come. I'll do a fucking set.
I totally think this is perfect.
I like this idea.
We're doing it.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk off the air.
We're done. We've already made a
I don't
decision
know
and
about
a
all
plan.
that.
We're putting it up online.
Go to brownpapertickets.com and get tickets for the Monday Night Teas. That's
Go to
available.
brownpapertickets.com and get a ticket for In Bed with Schmitty.
Under the Covers with Mike Schmidt.
That's perfect. Under the Covers with Mike Schmidt.
Yeah, okay.
That is absolutely perfect. We're doing it.
Okay.
It'll be up. It'll be up before this show goes live.
I got news for you. The turn down service at that will be everybody turning us down because they don't want to come. But
I think you're wrong. If we're literally 15 people max.
But me, you, and Jill will have so much fun watching pay-per-view and eating pizza all night long.
15 people,
alone.
$25 each. This is the way to do it.
Nobody will do it. They
You're
could
wrong.
not be less interested. But I love the idea, and I'm willing to take a fucking shot at it.
We are doing it.
I am willing to take a shot at
We're
it.
doing it.
Okay, so all right. Well, again, off the air, we'll figure all that
We're
bullshit out.
doing it. There's nothing else to discuss.
Okay, again, I can't even get you to do this fucking show anymore, and you're gonna go ahead and be the.
You're the one who said I'm going to show up and I'm bringing my mic and my computer
Well,
and I'm going
yes,
to learn to do it.
because I want to.
Good. Well,
That's
then
the whole
don't tell me
point.
I've abandoned it.
You did. You bailed
I'm
on me.
teaching you a tool.
You don't have to. All right. Skeleton Fingerbang with Mike Schmidt. There you go. Under the Covers is gone.
No, I like Under the Covers with Mike Schmidt. Oh my god.
Skeleton
It's going to be the best album ever.
Fingerbang with Mike Schmidt.
No, this is going to be the best. This is going to be the podcast and I'm going to make up Do Not Disturb signs for you like I
Okay.
did for the Hollywood Burlesque Festival. It's just going to be a picture of you and you're going to be like looking over the covers.
And here's also let's fucking do this again since we're going to talk about it now. Why not? Well, people will buy tickets on Brown Paper Tickets, but but nobody say that you bought them, because I'll be told who buys them because I get their information, and then I will email you where it is. We won't say where it is.
Well, it's
So it'll
in
be
the
like
bedroom at the podcast.
But they won't. But nobody will know. It's like a speakeasy
Yeah.
because you won't know the room number, and then there's a secret knock. Like we'll tell people what the secret knock is, and that's the only way you get in.
It's the secret knock. Wah, wah, wah. No.
No, I actually thought it was going to be.
Oh my god, this is perfect.
This is fun. It's a
In
fun
an
idea.
In an undisclosed bedroom.
It's totally fun to think about.
No, we're
but-
totally doing this. I'm setting it up.
Okay.
I need your login.
All right. I'll give it to you when we're done.
No, give it to me now over the air.
What if I did? All right, what, Brown Paper Tickets?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's MikeSchmidtComedy@gmail.com.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And then it's... I can't do the noise.
Skeleton Fingerbang with Mike Schmidt. So.
No, it's under the covers because you always want to hide under the covers, so it's perfect.
yeah, that's a good point.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect, and that is the podcast that we released from the festival.
Oh boy.
And it's totally underground, and you're like you are the underground podcast.
Wow. That's
Literally,
a nice way of saying not famous ever.
People have been murmuring, does anybody know where Mike Schmidt's podcast is? The secret podcast? The Peanut Butter and Jelly secret podcast?
Do you guys know the knock? Does
Does
anybody know the secret knock?
what room is it in? Does anybody know? Is he registered under his name? No. He's registered under Mr. Manilow.
All right, so
We're
go
totally
to.
doing this.
I hear what you're saying, and I cannot wait to say no. So we go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You go to the Joe Business page. Again, like we've said, we've got all of those things for sale, all that neat stuff. And then, of course, we've got donating. You can donate to the show. $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. Those are available. And thank you so much for signing up. And I'm going to say a special thank you to our friend Peter. Our friend Peter was donating for a long time, and unfortunately this week he has stopped donating. But thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it. I'm glad you supported the show as long as you did. Thank you so much for being on board. And then our Amazon link is on that page. Go ahead and click on that and go ahead and buy any and all of your stuff for Amazon. And I want to say this too. I want to throw this out there. Our friend KC in Wisconsin mentioned this, and I'm remiss to say this. There is another gentleman who actually had this idea, and he said he was doing it before KC, and fuck me if I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. My album is available on Spotify, The Big Angry. And so there is streaming income to be made. It's minimal, certainly. But there is streaming income, and I get paid every time it's played. Well, and I don't know if I should talk about this, but I know that let's just say this. My friend KC plays the album a lot. I don't want to get into any more than that, but I will say that before KC contacted me, another gentleman contacted me, and he told me that he was also playing the album a lot. I can't go into details because I have no idea if the FCC will then kick in their doors. I don't know how it works in the new Wild West frontier of streaming. But thanks to both of them, certainly, and thanks to anybody who's played my album on Spotify. That's really cool of you. Thank you. So again, you can check that out on Spotify. Use my Amazon link to buy anything that you want. Click through there, go through, buy stuff. We get credit. And of course, my CDs on sale, the shirts, all that stuff. Hey, if you want to see me live, folks.
In bed.
Before September, if you want to see me before September in an actual venue, Saturday evening, August 1st. I will be at the Maker Theater in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen. I will be there at 8 o'clock doing a show where I'm talking about, this is funny, I just found this out because I signed with these people, because again, finding a venue is hard for me. So I have to try to search for them and find them, and right now I will tell you there's 2 other cities that are in play this summer. I just got to try to get a venue nailed down. Well, for sure, I'm coming to Pittsburgh, and I had to find a venue. So there was one that looked like it was going to happen, and but the good thing is they only wanted $900 for a Saturday night, and I said, hey, it was good talking to you. And then there was another one that looked like it was going to happen, and they wanted $550. And I've done that at a couple other theaters, you know what I mean? But again, going to a new market, and especially after the Phoenix debacle, I was like, I didn't want to deal with it. I wasn't sure what the fuck was going to happen. Well, I will say this, though. We're selling tickets for Pittsburgh, which is cool. That's fucking great. And thank you so much for stepping up and supporting me, folks. And anybody else who wants to buy tickets, it's going to be a fantastic show. I cannot wait for you to come and check me out. But the theater itself, the Maker, they sent me... This always fucking happens. I agreed to the thing. I found out how much, and then they sent me a contract. And then I announced the show, and I put the tickets on sale, and then I read the contract. And in the contract, it said that I am responsible for sweeping, mopping, emptying all the garbage. I have to clean the theater when I'm done, basically. They're like, you have to clean the whole theater. You have to sweep and mop the floor. You have to stack, because this happened in Boston, right? To stack fucking chairs, and people showed up to help, which was fucking cool. So I read that, and I'm just like, well, this is bullshit. I can't believe you're going to make me clean the goddamn theater, especially because they're, at the Maker, they're doing a show before me and a show after me. So how the fuck are you, what am I going to do? I'm going to put on a fucking Carol Burnett dress and fucking droop my ass around and mop while you guys are doing your improv show after me? It made no fucking sense.
Yeah, well, you line it out and you sign it and send it back.
Well, whatever. So I read that on the contract. Then I read this part of the contract. And because they tried to pitch me, all right, they charged me a certain amount to rent the theater, which is cool. But then they pitched me a front of the house package. And it's almost double what they charged me to rent the theater. And you're supposed to pay it in addition to your theater rental. And I'm like, I don't fucking need that. It's fine. I send all my ticket sales through the internet. We're okay.
Yeah.
So I get the contract, and it says you don't have to purchase the front of the house thing, but it's a Pennsylvania law. I have to have the lobby manned at all times. Someone has to be in the lobby the entire show, in the booth outside.
Yeah.
And so Jill's like, I'll do it. And I'm like, that's fucking terrible. Then you're not going to see the show. She goes, I don't care. We're doing this fucking show. It's already done. We're doing it. It's fine. And she goes, I will handle tickets. I will check everybody in. And I go, honey, please. And she's
awesome.
like, I know. Well, that's the thing, right? Because I was like, honey, don't. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, God, I love you. How much do I love you? You are so great. But so she's like, I'll do it. She goes, and I'll come, I'll peek in the doorway and I'll watch some of the show and stuff. But yeah, she goes, I'll take tickets and I'll check people in and I'll be in the lobby the whole show. And because I was, me, I'm a fucking banana head. So I was pissed when I read that fucking rule. I'm like, come on, you don't need somebody in the fucking lobby. But now, of course, I'm deathly afraid that she's going to be in the lobby and 4 robbers are going to steal her and I'm going to be doing a show and she won't be there when I get out. What would be fucking terrible. But no, she offered. She's like, I'll work the lobby for you. I'll do it. I'll sell the tickets. I'll check people in. It'll be great. I love you, honey. Because she can see me working. Where I'm just like, I can't fucking do this. I'm going to go and tell these motherfuckers to burn their goddamn theater to the ground. And she's like, honey, it's okay. I'll take care of it. I'll cover you. So Jill's working the fucking lobby, which is I don't get at all, but she's super cool. And I mean, I was like, because she wants me to do the show. It was like she keeps telling me, schedule a show. I love you. Schedule a show. And I tell everybody to remind me and send me emails and tell me, hey, what's up? And she's so much at the forefront of that. When we're talking on the phone, she's like, did you call anybody? Did you text anybody? Did you do this? And I'm just like, yeah, honey, I promise I'm doing this. And so that's Pittsburgh. It's on sale. Right now, if you go to brownpapertickets.com, you put in my name. And again, like I said, we're selling tickets, which is totally cool. Thank you. I'm excited to do a show that week. I'm excited to do a show every week. I'm excited for all the shows that I have coming up. Now, have I announced all of them? No. That's because I'm still doing venue shopping and dates and locking things down. But I can tell you this, there are a couple more that are in the pipeline for the summer and then another one for the fall. And, it's just, this is what I'm supposed to be fucking doing, man. So it's time. It's time to get out there and do it. And I hope you guys will buy some tickets and check out the show. Pittsburgh so far is stepping up. I hope other cities do too. I did Comedy Film Nerds. I talked about it a little earlier. I actually taped it today. I recorded it today. I think it's out now, for fuck's sake. Although it's Tuesday when I'm recording this. And so you'll hear this on Thursday, so it's definitely out by now, guaranteed. I did the regular Comedy Film Nerds episode, and then I wound up doing the spoiler episode for Jurassic World, which I don't want to go into here because I discussed at length, ad nauseum, ad infinitum on their show. But check it out. It was fun. It's always fun to talk to Chris and Graham. And I signed some books while I was there, so if you want to buy the Comedy Film Nerds movie book that I wrote a couple of chapters in when I was a writer, and I was able to do those things, you can check that out. That's available. And also, you can check out the, what's the deal that they had? Oh, they did an extra episode. I recorded all sorts of fucking stuff over there today. I recorded the regular podcast for Comedy Film Nerds. I recorded the spoiler episode for Jurassic World. And then I recorded their iPhone Android extra. And I won't tell you what it's about because you got to go and listen because it was fucking extra. But it's available, and I think that's free. I don't know if you got to pay $1 for it. I don't know how they fucking handle their business over there. All I know is that the whole time I was there, they were talking about, oh my God, we got to go put all these DVDs in these envelopes and send them. And I'm like, good for you. I get to tell people to go to my webpage and hope that they buy something. But you guys are packing DVDs. That's fucking awesome. So go ahead and support Comedy Film Nerds. Go to their website. Go check out all their stuff. And don't use their Amazon link. Use mine. And that's it. And hey, I have to talk about this because you know what? I spared you guys, and I didn't really talk about this for the past few weeks because, in my opinion, I don't. This show, there's certain things I want it to be, and I have ideas for what it could be, but I also know that there's people listening who don't give a flying fuck about the Bears, and they don't give a flying fuck about football, and when the Phillies were marching to the World Series, and back in 2008, I remember I would get emails. From people going, oh my God, stop with the baseball talk. And I just go, I don't understand why you're listening, quite frankly. I try to be as funny as I possibly can, but yes, I also like baseball and that's my life right now. So that's it. But I was able to temper it and I did not talk hockey with you guys. I wasn't able to go in and on and about the Blackhawks, but fuck it. Now I'm going to talk about it because they won the goddamn Stanley Cup again, third in 6 years. And that's huge and that's a dynasty and you can't fuck with that. That's right. And it's funny, when I went to record with Graham today, he already had a fucking championship shirt on. And I'm like, really? You're that guy? But why not be that fucking guy? Because you know what? They won the fucking cup. You got a question?
Who makes a championship shirt before they win?
No, they won last night.
Oh, they won last night and he had it today?
Yes, he had it today. And I was like, God damn. When I walked in, I go, you're not wasting any fucking time, are you?
Yeah.
And of course he's not because he's fucking Graham Elwood. He knows what he's doing. He might have made the fucking shirt himself. I have no idea. That's why he handles his business.
What he's doing, or he would have booked your podcast.
Still might. Never know. Still might.
Problem is, it may already have its own booking.
It's what?
It may already have its own booking. It may not be available.
Well, I can't wait to talk with you about that off the air. But dude, the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup, and it's funny because Jill's one of her oldest son is like a huge Hawks fan, and earlier this year we almost went to a game. And we were going to go, and then he looked into the tickets, and tickets were fucking... I mean, this is against the Buffalo Sabres, who were the second worst... Or no, they're the worst team in hockey this year. Tickets were like $250 standing room only. Or no, in decent seats, they're $250. Standing room only was like $100, but we didn't want to go fucking stand in the United Center. But then tickets last night for the fucking Game 6, they were like $19,000. And so there was one guy who listed them for $71,000. And I was talking to Jill about it. I'm like, man, I always say money comes and goes, but memories last forever. But I got to be honest with you. If you offered me $71,000 for my Stanley Cup tickets, I would love watching that game from a fucking bar. Seriously, I would have 71 grand and I would bank it. And you're making a face.
I can't believe people would pay it.
I can't believe people have it to pay. You know what I mean? That's you know who would do it? Chris B, because he went to the fucking game. It made me laugh. Because that's why I started thinking about him earlier. Because again, he's got pictures of him with Rick Springfield and hanging out. Well, on Facebook, he posted. He was in the stands, and he's got photos of them raising the cup. And in my head, I'm just like, I don't. And again, it could have been corporate tickets, or he could have gotten a deal, or he might have seen. I don't know. I don't talk to Chris as much as I should, but holy God, when I saw that he was at the game, in my head, I just went, Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, literally, his house. And that's a good point. He may not have been at the game. The game may have been at him. Really, they may have somehow played Game 7 or Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals in my friend's house. Because that's a
Max always says people skip the closing music. I say people love your closing music, so let's prove it to them. If you've listened this far, write me at heymexilistened@gmail.com and we'll send you a 40-year-old boy hearing commemorative Facebook profile picture that you better fucking put up, you dick. Sorry about the dick thing. Thing. Did you get that?
Yeah, I got it.
I don't want you to miss any of that brilliance.